All right, here we go. TK Kirkland. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Always,
one of my favorite guests.
Always a pleasure, Vlad.
Always a pleasure.
So much shit has happened since we last seen each other.
I know.
So much.
Well, let's get into it then.
Yes, sir.
We can't start this interview without talking about Jada Pinkett.
Wow, man.
She's more talked about than the Israeli war right now.
Yes. When I saw it on my feed, my timeline, so many thoughts went through my head. I know people defend her from time to time. They love Jada. Some people defend Will. They talk about Chris Rock. And we have just reached the era in our lives that people just search for attention so much that some of these things that she talks about does not have to be mentioned. And then I think what she forgets is that people have memories. People can research stuff. Mm-hmm. So when she talks about her going to see Tupac at Rikers Island, she never been there because she was traveling with Will Smith on vacation to different parts because Will had just divorced his wife. He hit her up. She was in her home in Maryland, I think, and he sent for her right after he got a divorce. They went on these different islands for almost a month.
Well, Pac was locked up for a while, though.
Yeah, but she never went. There was a young lady who did a thorough research that I did my research on, and it shows that she's never went to see Tupac. And I'm tired of saying that Tupac's her soulmate.
Well,
Do you see it?
Hold on.
Is it right?
Well, there's a picture of them hugged up on each other.
It may not be the Rikers.
That looks kind of jailish. I'm not sure.
It might be. I'm not sure. So the homie, for the record, I thought I did my homework pretty well.
I'm not sure. You know, I mean, we try to put the right information out there, and I believe you. But this one, I'm not sure about.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure.
I could say I'm 92%, right?
92. So there's still an 8%.
Yes, yeah, and 8% in our business means a lot.
Right, 8% that we're not exactly sure.
Yes.
But there's been some interesting, reveals during this media run.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, she said that her and Will have been separated since 2016. Although they're not divorced, they've been separated now for 7 years.
Yes. And that is fascinating to me because why still come to the award show with him? Right? Why? Like, let me go by myself so I can pull a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm Will Smith. Like,
Will
bitch,
Smith.
stay home. You ain't got to rock with me.
Right.
And then why make that face when Chris Rock says something about me, about you, and I go up to defend my wife.
Right.
And you don't love me like that. That's how you hit it.
Yeah, because, she said that when Will Smith said, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth, she said, oh, that'll surprise me because that was the first time he referred to me as, as his wife in years.
Right. And why throw him under the bus like that, Jada? This is my thing. Like, as men, and whoever gonna watch this around the world, okay, it is what it is. You ain't fucking with me like that, right? Yeah. But don't embarrass me. Don't come out in magazines and different platforms and say that we wasn't together because no one had to know that business. No one had to know that Chris Rock tried to talk to you.
Right. Yeah. She said that Chris Rock asked her out when there was a rumor they're getting divorced.
Right. And this was before the
separation.
Slap. This is
way before.
Because
he
I want to make sure we
asked her out, and she goes, "No, Chris, we're still married." And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Yes.
She said he was very apologetic.
Yes.
But I mean, I guess that somehow fed into the equation of Will not liking him. Oh, you're trying to holler at my wife.
Right. And I don't think it's that. There's so many things if I was weak, I could talk about women who I've dated who are married now.
Yeah.
The thing about a woman and a man, shut the fuck up. You don't have to mention so-and-so try to speak to me. To all the young men, to you young motherfuckers, if you knock someone off and that person now marries someone else, you can keep that to yourself and you take it to your grave. You ain't gotta be mentioning, I kicked it or so-and-so tried to talk to me.
Yeah. Well, she said that the Will Smith slapping incident, she thought it was a skit. which is why I guess justified. See, to me, she's worked out angles for everything. So it's like, because, she laughed when it happened.
Right.
And I guess by saying, I thought it was a skit, I'm laughing at the skit, not laughing at this man being assaulted in front of the whole world. Because, she did look bad by laughing at that situation. She's
scary. She's one, if that woman was on the street and you ran across her and she was trying to manipulate you or claim that you did some foul to her because of her angle and how she thinks, very precise, she can get you killed or locked up. By you telling me what you saying because she worked out why she laughed, that's scary.
Well, she said that when she visited Tupac in prison, he proposed to her. Now, once again, you said that she didn't visit him, so we're not quite sure about that.
Let's talk about the proposing thing. If that's the case, I know he was engaged to one woman, then he got hooked up with, his daughter.
Quincy Jones' daughter.
Quincy Jones' daughter.
Kadada Jones. That came later. That came when he got out.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm not saying Jada, back then Jada was a cute young girl, innocent, and I could see the attraction when she was young.
She's a very pretty girl, man.
She's a very pretty girl,
Menace to Society, it was like, wow, who is this?
Yeah, she's a very attractive young lady.
Jason's Lyric, all that.
When you see what she's done now and how she moves, she's become very ugly. Like you don't even see the beauty no more. You see nothing but hate and ugliness in a woman. That's why I explain to men now in my shows and my interviews, that's why you have to look for a character and a person. Forget the fat asses, the thighs or whatever. What's the person character that you're going to spend the rest of your life with or you're going to claim that's going to be your woman? But here's the question. Why don't Will divorce her? It can't be the money because he'll make that back.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're saying that he's worth $350 million and she's worth $50 million, and there's no prenup.
I don't give a fuck. I'll make that back.
I'll make that back. So what does that mean? So that means there's $175 million you may have to carve up.
Yeah, keep that. So I won't be embarrassed. I'll make that back.
I'll go do I Am Legend 2, and that'll be $100 million check, and I'm cool.
And I'll get me a white bitch to walk down. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck this shit. These motherfuckers got to know how to be a player. You got to be a player out here, man.
I'll go have me a baby at 80 like De Niro and Pacino.
Yeah.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
Go on. If you... And Will's listen to me. The reason why this hurts, because I know Will. He's a nice guy.
Have you ever met Jada before?
I never met Jada.
Never met Jada. I saw Will when I was coming back from Dubai. He was coming off the plane around the same time. People were all taking selfies with him and shit.
That's what hurts because he sings and he's from Overbrook, Philadelphia. When I think of Philly, I think how all the people I know out of Philly, they move a certain way. I can't believe that this woman is just dragging her like that. And it really hurts, Vlad, from my perspective. It hurts.
I mean, the stories just get more and more outrageous. And then, like people start to chime in. Like someone said, I'm tired of Jada Pinkett Shakur, Alcina Smith.
Exactly. Like I said again, to women and men listening, there's just some things you just keep to yourself and keep it moving, especially when you're a high-value man. Yeah. And Will Smith is a high-value man, and she's totally disrespecting him.
Well, because there's the whole Keefe D investigation that's happening right now, and they just released a new photo of the night that Tupac got killed. And apparently, Jada was there.
Vlad, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Man. Oh, man. Yeah, she's going to go for a run. I'm curious to see how this sticks to the world. What's the perspective at the end of how they look at Jada after this?
Yeah, man, it's a weird situation because the story keeps changing and evolving.
Yes.
I remember there was a meme that said, Jada says she's never actually met Will Smith. There's a picture of the two together in that meme. Like, it's a weird kind of thing.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think she's trying to get out of it? Is she trying to force him to get divorced?
She's selling some books, obviously.
Okay, so
she got a book coming out.
That's what
a tell-all. And he even commented and said, I never knew certain things about her, but, you know, I admire her more. And, you know what I'm saying? I've known her half my life.
What happened?
So Will Smith, what did he say? Hold on.
I want to hear this. What?
He said, when you've been with someone for more than half your life, a sort of emotional blindness sets in, and you could all too easily lose your sensitivity to their hidden nuances and subtle beauties.
Man, listen to me. Y'all keep that shit. I'm all right. Like, there's just some things as a man I just can't deal with. Like, that type of shit would drive me insane.
Yeah, he said, I applaud and honor you. If I had read this book 30 years ago, I definitely would have hugged you more. I'll start now. Welcome to the Authors Club. Blah, blah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, he also posted a picture of himself, says notifications off, meaning that he don't want to hear about all the social media stuff.
So he's willing to still accept this.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, man, every relationship's different. I'm not judging their relationship.
Yeah, can't judge.
I'm not judging their relationship.
Can't judge.
I have not always had the best relationships in my life. I've had my own, you know, nightmares along the way, and every relationship is unique. If they are not married, but they're separated. To me, this sounds like a bit of a concocted story once again after the fact, because the whole thing about them being separated all this time is that, oh, when I was with August Alsina, we weren't even married. So,
but she lied at first that she was never with him. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
Now,
and then she brings him on the show and talks about the entanglement.
Right. Now he's gay, supposedly dating other men.
I don't know about that.
I read that. And then today.
Well, she addressed it. They're not gay. You know, it's
just too much.
It's too much, man.
There you go. It's too much. And then I read somewhere today she was a nun. A black.
What?
She's a nun.
Well, she said she wanted to take her own life, and her son like talked her out of it or gave her some psychedelics or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, listen, at one point I will write my autobiography also, but I don't think I'm going to go to quite this extreme when it comes to promoting it. I know we all want to sell some books, but like, I feel like when you're worth $50 million, you don't have to do this because you're not really counting on a book to take you to a different financial place.
Right. Me and you on the same page. Yeah. What has happened in, I'm 63 now, Vlad. I've seen society decline at a rapid pace for attention, for publicity. There was rules when we was coming up. Morals we applied.
Yeah,
all that is thrown out the window now.
Oh yeah, man. People will say the foulest, nastiest shit. They will go so far over that line with you just for a few likes that day, knowing they can never come back and talk to you again.
Absolutely.
People will go so far over the edge that they almost put their lives at risk for the things that they say.
Just for attention.
Just for a little bit of attention.
Just for,
and then
not even 5 minutes of fame. And then
when you confront them about it, it's like, oh man, no, it was not that serious. It's not, no, I didn't mean it that way.
Right.
It's not that serious.
It's I don't know, man. The new world has me confused. I have to honestly say that.
Well, the biggest news in my world is the Keefe D arrest.
Yes.
We've talked about this a few times.
Right.
And, you know, Keefe did an interview with me 4 years ago.
Right.
And at that point, I was publicly saying I've solved the Tupac case.
Right.
Now, shout out to Greg Kading. He's the one that got the actual confession, and that played a big role in it. But for me, I laid out the whole story from beginning to end in a 3-hour video that told everything before, during, and after.
Right.
And now, 4 years later, he actually got arrested. Were you surprised?
You know, I had to go to the streets for this and my crew. You know, I called my crew up. All my crew's old heads. We all rock together. Keefe, my Zip people, and we talked. And what our people are upset about is we had certain rules coming up, and the rules is we shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
What everybody's upset, and these some real bangers. They upset with Keefe a little. Because what they're saying is, why you put these glasses on, you get this hat for attention, and you talked your way into prison, at the age that you are, like this is something you're supposed to take to the grave and keep your mouth shut. And we talked about it for a good 45 minutes the other day. And I'm hurt on so many ways, right? I'm hurt that Tupac died. I loved him, thought he was an amazing guy. I understand Keefe because Keefe is associated with some of my people. And as the years go on, we see each other, we shake hands.
Wait, have you met Keefe in person?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we know. All of us know all of us. Yeah.
How many times you met Keefe?
Oh, at least over 10, 15 times.
10, 15 times?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, a bunch of times.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Did y'all talk?
Keefe the one told you that me and Zip was roommates.
No, you told me that.
No, Zip, you called me and said, yeah. You said, T, you and Zip used to be roommates?
Right, well, so Keefe didn't tell me that.
Oh, it wasn't Keefe.
I just got a DM from somebody.
Wow, I didn't know it was a DM.
Yeah. A lot of, because remember the whole BMF tattoo?
Yes,
that came from a DM also.
Okay. Yeah. So me and Zip, we owned some property together. So we wasn't really like roommates. We was handling our business together. And I knew about all that. And I'm just confused because I'm conflict on so many issues on this, right? I'm mad at Keefe for talking himself into prison like, you wasn't the one who even pulled the trigger, but you're talking like it's something to be talked about.
You put yourself into the crime scene.
And yes, you put yourself into the crime scene.
Let me ask you a question real quick before you go on. Did Eric Von Zip ever tell you that he knew Keefe? Or have you ever seen the two of them together?
We all been together.
Okay, so Eric Von Zip and Keefe 100% know each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've just made that connection official.
Yeah, we all know each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Okay, no, yeah. I feel you. And Eric Von Zip, for everyone who's like, oh, he's snitching on Eric. No, Eric has passed away.
Yeah, it's not even snitching. It's just that we hung out. Like I don't know what happened after we hung out with their situation, but we all know each other. Like it's no secret.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no secret.
So Keefe saying that he was associating with Eric Von Zip, that's 100% true.
I heard that story, yes.
That's 100% true. You have personally seen them together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever seen Eric Von Zip and Puffy together?
They used to hang together all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Keefe D and Puffy together?
No, never.
No. Okay.
Never.
Got it.
Yeah, never. Zip hung out with everybody in Harlem.
Yeah.
From the guy from Fame, what's the guy, the dancer had the braids?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like Leroy was his character, I think. Right. But I don't know what his real name was.
Yeah, me, Leroy, Zip. We used to all hang out together, like back in the day. So Zip was the guy, Houdini. Zip is the one who introduced me to all those people. And like I said, I will always defend Zip. I'm sorry that all this has come to where it is. I wish it had never happened, to be honest with you, because hip hop missed these guys, and it was a saying over whatever the reasons is that people die or you get upset and you angry with someone. It doesn't matter, and I'm so sorry that it has all come this, because when you get in your 60s and tell your story.
Right, and Keefe, I think, is 60-something years old.
He's 56, I think, right?
No.
He's older than that? I thought he was 57, 58.
He is 60 years old.
He's 60. Yeah,
60.
man. Yeah, man.
He's got no bond either.
Yeah, and let me tell you what I saw that I knew what Keefe was in life. When the police came and arrested him, he was walking in the morning with a bottle of water, taking his early morning walk.
You know that Keefe actually called me after his wife's house got raided.
Right.
And everyone was talking about there's going to be a grand jury indictment and everything else like that. He called me and was like, hey, big dog, I want to do an interview, but I'm going to need a deposit this time.
Right.
I said, all right, no problem.
Right, yeah.
I said, no, I'm thinking like he's probably about to go on the run or something. He's probably gathering up some money. So whatever. You know what I'm saying? I've done financially with his interview, so I'm assuming I'm never going to get it back. And from what I understand, he hit up a couple of other outlets and got money from a bunch of other outlets. And of course, none of us can get it back because he's in jail with no bond. But seemed like he was willing to do another interview. That surprised me a little bit, but
yeah, it surprised. And that's one of the things he did in Compton. Our crew called and they said Keefe was calling back and said he's more they talk about two people on the news trumping him. And we were shocked that he's moving that way, that he wants to be famous. But I wanted to finish my thought on the walking in the early in the morning.
Yeah, he was walking early in the morning when he got arrested. Because we saw the arrest footage.
Let me say too, when you go through life, there's all the stuff we all gone through, and you make it, and you got a home, nothing like getting up early in the morning going for your walk. Because you reflect on life, you reflect on spirituality, you reflect on the day, what you have to accomplish today.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I knew where he was in life. He was at peace.
Yeah, I do a treadmill for about an hour and a half every morning. You're right. I don't go outside, but I actually get on my treadmill. And that's, if I don't do it in the morning, my day ain't quite the same.
Yes, he was at peace.
That morning walk.
And I saw, and that's why when I want people to know, when you saw Keefe get arrested, how calm he was.
Yeah.
He was calm.
Well, he had done a lot of prison time already.
Yeah, but I'm saying that morning when you get through life and you get to that age and you understand how blessed you are to be still alive and breathing. And his situation is, and believe it or not, I know I feel this way, you're not locked up. And you're out here being free. And then all of a sudden, your freedom is taken away.
And let me tell you, if my house gets raided and I knew that indictment is coming and I knew that I did it, and I still have my passport, I would go somewhere where there's no extradition.
Yeah.
And I would start over.
Unfortunately, we don't think like that for some reason. I don't know why.
I would go, and it might not be where I want to live.
Yes.
The lifestyle might not be what I want. The language might not be a language that I understand. But at least I'm not in a cage.
Absolutely.
And there's women around, especially instead of men.
Yeah, especially 60-something years old.
60-something years old, because 10 years is a life sentence.
2 weeks.
Potentially.
2 weeks is a life sentence.
I mean,
But I want you to do me a favor, Vlad.
Yes, sir.
I thought about this, and you can't say no.
Okay, here we go.
When people come up here to share their life, I would like for you to say to them, listen, I want you to be careful what you say to me, because the feds and the police do monitor our conversation, and I don't want you to get locked up.
Right.
Because what I think is that when they sit in this chair and they look at you on the screen or whatever, you have this aura about you that people just want to tell their fucking lives away, but they don't think about how I could get in trouble. Now, on your end, you're not doing any malice.
Well, right. But here's the thing about Keefe, right? Because I've had these accusations. Oh, everyone gets locked up if they do a VladTV interview. Keefe wrote a book.
Sure did.
About this whole thing.
Yes, he did.
My whole interview, the blueprint was in the book.
It was.
Every time I asked a question and he didn't want to answer, I said, well, in the book, you said this.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about Keefe D. I'm talking about Keefe's done. I'm talking as we move forward the next 50, 60 years, when people off the street come to talk to my friend Vlad.
Yeah.
That's all I want you to mention to them. Yeah. Is say, listen, I'm great that you're doing doing an interview with me.
Yeah.
But please be careful what you say to me, because I don't want you to go.
Well, I don't.
I know you don't.
And there's been times where someone says something and be like, this is an open case. I've turned down a lot of interviews. And people think, oh, you work with the police. I don't work with the police.
No, I know you don't.
And here's the thing. Let me play you something, because I just got a phone call today that I didn't answer. Because I've mentioned this. Vegas police have been calling me up.
I saw that interview.
All the time, trying to get me to cooperate, hand over all my raw footage and everything else like this. So just today, I'm going to play this so people can hear it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vlad. This is Operative Investigator from District Attorney's Office. I left you numerous messages in regards to, receiving a video for an interview that you've done in the past with Keefe D, and I've not heard from you. Please give me a call back at 702.
Yeah, no, Vlad, I believe you.
I'm not I haven't even responded, because my whole thing is, unless you can leave as many messages as you want.
That's right.
Unless I get a subpoena.
You ain't gotta say it. Yep, you ain't gotta say. We don't want them to send it to you, because they'll do it.
Well, but they could try.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is, I'll lawyer up.
Right.
No problem. Because there's still a thing of freedom of the press, and we're allowed to protect our sources. We're allowed to protect our information.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? From this type of invasive behavior. Because my whole thing is like, listen, it's not about Keefe D or Tupac or anything else like that. I was a big Tupac fan. Yes. Like I started making Tupac, like I was known for making Tupac mixtapes. That's how I got into hip hop. Okay. I have a mixtape of the year award when you walk by here.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I went from making Tupac mixtapes to helping solve the murder.
Right.
But my whole thing is that if you sit down with me at my platform, I will not turn around and then try to put you in jail.
Right.
You know, after the fact.
Yes.
I will try to protect you to the best of my ability. Now, once everything's been publicly released, I can't help that.
Right. But you that's what I'm saying.
But I'm not going to hand over the raw footage. I'm not going to tell the police, hey, I just got this interview. Y'all should check it out before I put it out.
No.
None of that weird shit.
I'm going to make sure that I'm clear. That's not what I'm talking about. I just want you to verbally tell them.
Verbally tell people.
Yeah, while they doing the interview, be conscious of what you about to say to me, because it's not worth likes, views, to even if you could beat the case, even if you go the way, it's not worth it. That's all. And since we're friends, I would like for you to do that for me.
Absolutely, man. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, that's all.
You know, because now Puffy's being dragged into the situation.
Yeah, he
a lot. 50 Cent has been on stage.
50 on it hard.
50 Cent is going overboard. Yeah. There was an interview where Mo Preem actually said that Puffy called him and denied any involvement in the whole Tupac murder, which, you know, of course Puffy's going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, and people have asked me, I was on the Breakfast Club the other day, they're like, you know, do you think that Puffy's going to get arrested? I see it as a virtually 0% chance.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, and we've talked about this.
Yes, we did.
The story that Keefe said was that Puffy called them after the murder and said, was that us? And they said yes. And Puffy allegedly sent him $1 million. They sent it to Eric Von Zip. And the story was that Eric Von Zip kept the money. I'd heard he bought a nightclub.
Right, he did.
He did buy a nightclub.
He did.
So that part's true.
Yeah, because zip code.
Zip code.
It's called zip code. Yep.
Where was it?
In Harlem.
In Harlem! Puffy's hometown.
Yeah, he had Harlem. He had,
well, not Puffy's dad's hometown.
Yeah, he had a place up in the Bronx, another club in the Bronx. But Zip always had money, you know. Zip always had money. Like,
you know, did I ever tell you the story about what Mike Tyson told me about Zip?
No, go ahead, I'm listening.
You want to hear a story about Zip? So one day, Dog comes and tries this shit with me, put me around $600,000 in a bag. And, you know, believe it or not, $600,000 is heavy. I know you guys think if he told you guys grabbing bags like Tony Montana coming in there, they're not grabbing bags like that. You know what I mean? Like that might be 12, 11 pounds. $1 million is probably like 75 pounds. So it's not something you can run around and run the block with, you know what I mean? So it was crazy when we had all that money, you know? And so, well, we were talking about Don, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should even say this shit. But no, fuck it. Go ahead. Ask me another question. Fucking Zip took the $600,000.
Really?
Yeah.
From who?
From Dom, when he came in with the money, he's trying to do something, and then Zip thought, let's come back later and we'll talk about that. He's walked him out the door. He said, hey man, let me get some of that money to pay some people. I gotta pay the people. WDC, the dog, come back. He's come back. And Zip, you never met Zip, have you?
I haven't, no.
Zip is such a gentleman. Please come back. Not right now. He's just not feeling well, dog. Click, bye. And then we're thinking about it, we're like, wow, we're gonna have a party. Let's get some bitches. Let's get everything. We gotta do it tonight. That's $700,000 right there.
And then when I did Mike's interview, Mike talked about how he hung out with Mr. King afterwards. And they was just trying to put a fight together. And all, he's with his sister, Jackie. And shout out to Jackie, love you. And he changed his mind in the backseat of the car, started kicking the seat, and started whooping Don King's ass.
Yeah, he told me about that,
Left on the side of the freeway, and it was insane.
Oh, yeah, no, he told the whole story. We'll actually run the story. He was chasing him around the car.
Yeah.
Well, because it was like, I guess what had happened was...
Had a flashback.
Mike was going broke at that time, and he was on Don King's private plane.
Right.
And he was sitting on this plane going like, this motherfucker made all this money off me. I ain't got shit. And then they jumped in like the Rolls Royce. This
Right.
motherfucker got a Rolls Royce. This is all my money. And then he's getting more and more mad. And then he just jumped out and beat him up and chased him around the car and everything else like that. Because Mike, what was interesting is I interviewed Alan Dershowitz. He was Mike Tyson's lawyer. He represented him in his appeal.
And he was a tax attorney.
No. Alan Dershowitz, no, he wasn't a tax attorney.
Okay, I got the word. Yeah.
Alan Dershowitz represented Trump. He represented OJ.
Okay, now I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he old Jewish guy.
Yeah, now you're talking about.
He represented, right, so Alan Dershowitz represented Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
He represented a lot of big names. I mean, down to like Mandela and so forth. And he represented Mike. Because Mike was already in prison for the rape charges, but he was working on his appeal.
Okay.
And he said while Tyson was in jail, he ran out of money. And Dershowitz said, that's okay, I'll still represent you. Because he's like, if my client runs out of money, it's okay. I'm not just going to bail on him. So he finished off the job. Ultimately, they didn't win the appeal. And he said, well, Mike got out. After his first fight, he called up Alan and he paid him. Well, I guess Mike Tyson actually ran out of money.
I continued to defend him without money. I continued to defend him. He paid me some money, and then he couldn't pay. But I have to tell you about Mike. The day he fought his first fight after he left prison, he paid me and all the other lawyers, even some who didn't continue with him. I continued with him because I never drop a case. Because my client runs out of money, I feel that I have an ethical obligation to continue the case as long as the client can't afford it. If the client refuses to pay, that's one thing. But if he can't afford it, I continue on the case. I've done that in numerous cases.
Great.
But the thing of that story that kind of shocks me was that Mike Tyson had made hundreds of millions of dollars to go totally broke in prison.
I agree.
Is insane.
Here's my take on it, because we all hung out together. Me and Mike been great friends. When Mike was with the first guys, and they kept him fighting all the time. He stayed fighting, they kept him busy. And I hate that when he got with Don King and a few other people, we all used to be hanging out on La Cienega Boulevard. I forgot our guy's name owned a beeper shop. And Mike is such an amazing person. Like, he'll spend hundreds of thousands on you. I never, even though I hung with him and we hung out, never asked him for a dime.
Right.
Never let him buy me anything.
Yeah.
We would just enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's how close we were. When my brother got murdered,
Mike
was the first person to call me. He called me and asked me, was I okay? That's how far we go back up. I know Mike, right after he won the heavyweight championship of the world.
Okay.
We go that far back for he met all these other people. And I saw the decline when he got with Don King and all of them. Like, they really drained him. And I watched it from afar. The parties, the hanging out, the drugs. So now, fast forward, come back to Zip. Me, Zip, and Mike Tyson's at the MGM in Vegas. We all seeing us talking, the TK hanging. So now we walking in. I'm thinking we're going somewhere special. So we walking through. Mike got the bodyguards, but everybody's knowing TK. I'm famous now. So I'm acting like the bodyguard, my bodyguards. We walked from the beginning of ballet all the way through the MGM, all the way past the fight state, the ring. Outside the car, me and Zip and Mike, we go sit in the car just so Mike can smoke a blunt. And I thought that was the funniest shit in the world. Like, yo, we walked all the way from, I'm thinking we going somewhere like on some business stuff. We walked all from there. And it was great. But if you're watching this, I want to say my friendship with you has been amazing over the years because I've known him since he was a kid. Yeah. When me, him, Teddy Riley, and others hang out.
Oh,
I was with Mike when he bought his first $1 million ankle bracelet. That he wore on his ankle. You know, most people buy bracelet watches.
How big were those diamonds?
Man, this
is like 5 carats on each joint.
He bought it $1 million ankle bracelet and wore it on his ankle.
Let me tell you something. Michael Jai White told me in our last interview that Mike Tyson bought a black female celebrity that we all know. a house?
I know people Mike bought houses for. And all kinds of
you
stuff.
know
Because
people,
it wasn't about the money. So
hold
much.
on. You know someone that has
I'm
a house.
not going to say any names.
No, it's okay. You don't have to tell me.
Right.
No, it's all right. We'll
Right,
talk.
yeah.
We'll talk off camera.
Okay.
You know, I'll get the real scoop off camera, and I won't mention it again. But you personally know someone who has a house that Mike Tyson just gifted to them.
Yeah, there's a lot. Man, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
I believe it.
A house.
Mike was listen.
I'm not going. I'll tell you who it is off camera.
Yeah, Mike was a.
Everyone
player.
heard of her. A house.
Yeah,
and she's super bad, by the way, especially back then. A house.
Mike was one of the. That's where I kind of get my playerism from him and Zip, because Mike from New York. I mean, New York people have money. I don't care what nobody say. They know how to lay out the red carpet. And Mike would lay out, I've seen him buy women diamonds.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember in our interview, we talked about this, about how when Mike was at his height, he had more money than all the celebrities, than the Eddie Murphys, all the A-list rappers, singers, actors. He had more money than everyone. So he just was down to share it.
Yeah, and he was doing fighting 2 fights a year, maybe 3, 60 million, 30 million
30
a fight.
million, 50
Not
million.
knowing that Don King was charging him for even boxing in the ring, like training.
Yeah,
he was paying for that.
Yeah,
Don King had co-hustle.
No, man, it was ill. Like, I remember we interviewed Ed Lover. He said he gave Ed Lover a Bentley, and then Mike's crooked managers went and took it back.
Wow.
You know, and then when he ran into Mike later on, he was like, "Oh yeah, your managers picked up the Bentley." He's like, "No, I wanted you to have that. Those dudes are crooks."
Mike goes to send his man in to pay. I'm outside. I'm like, "Yo, Mike, good time, man. It's getting late. Gotta take me back to New York. Let me get the car out the garage." Mike's like, "Nah, I can't go back to New York. I got a lot of shit to do tomorrow, Ed. I gotta go right to where I'm going." I'm like, "Well, Mike, have one of your mans or somebody take me in a different car just so I go get my car, man. I gotta get my car." "Nah, I need everybody with me." And he goes, "Don't your moms live around here somewhere?" I'm like, "Yeah, she don't live too far from here." And he throws me the keys to the Bentley. I take the Bentley back to my mom's block in Queens. I park it on the street. I hit it. Boop, boop. I start walking in the house. Then I'm thinking, hold on. You can't leave this car outside on the street, bro. You got to put it in the garage, but we ain't have no garage. My pops tore it down, so I pulled it into the backyard. Long story short, week go by, I still got this car. 2 weeks go by, I still got the car. 3 weeks go by, my boys are gassing me out. "You got to move this, man. You can't just let it sit there. The motor seized up." I don't know nothing about no Bentley. So I'm driving this shit around the hood like it's my car now. I had already gone and got my car, but I left the Bentley at my mom's house. Because where I lived there in Jersey, you couldn't take it over there either at the time. So I'm rolling. I got this Bentley. All of a sudden, my pager go off, 911, 911, with a number. See, that's pager days. I call back, go, "Yo, hey, Ed, this is John Horn. You know, Mike's." I said, "Yeah, John, I know who you are. Yo, by any chance, do you happen to have one of Mike's cars?" I go, "Yeah, I got that Bentley where we was out the other night. Yeah, I got that." He said, "Well, give me an address. I'm going to send somebody to come get it." I didn't think none of it. I knew it wasn't my shit. So they came and got the car. Gone. Fast forward 15 years later, I'm in Vegas at Tao. I see Mike come in. He's standing by the bar. Of course, I got to go holler at him. That's my man. I'm talking to Mike. People coming by. "Hey, champ, how you doing, man? How you doing?" "Good." "Hey, Ed Lover, what's up, bro?" Mike goes, "Ed, it's been a good life, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, Mike, it's crazy." He said, "People still call me champ. Man, I ain't been in the ring in over 10 years. People still call me champ. Yeah, it's been a long time since you're on TV Rats. People still know you. They know everything." So, man, remember we used to go out to Nels and shit, have a good time and all that. I said, "Remember that spot we went to in Queens with the Jamaican bitches?" I was like, "Yeah." So, "Remember that night I gave you the Bentley to take to your mom's house?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember that." He said, "You know I gave you that car, right?" I said, "What?" He said, "Nah, I gave it to you. I wanted you to have that. You was my man, you know. And I knew you couldn't afford a Bentley and nothing like that. So I like having all my friends, you know, be fly. I just really want you to have that." He said, "John and them came and got that. These jealous motherfuckers, right?" I was like, "Yep." I said, "You tell John Horn if I see him, nigga, you owe me $400,000, all right? Because this nigga gave me a Bentley and you came and got it." I didn't know it was mine. I said, "Why you ain't tell me?" Like, "Yo, you know I was getting high, Ed. I remember I gave a lot of cars out." I'm like, this nigga. Crazy. Gave me the shit.
Right, yeah.
He really just gave it to him. Like, go ahead.
I know those guys very well. I don't mention the name. They robbed him blind, man. They robbed him blind.
You know, with Keefe D, people have asked me why he wrote a book and why he did those interviews. And I think that when those confession tapes got released and everyone was calling him a snitch and everything else like that, I felt that Keefe wanted to clear his name.
Okay.
He wanted to tell people his side of the story.
Okay. Because I've always wanted to know why he did that.
That's what I think.
Okay.
I think he wanted to tell his side of the story, and that was more important than his potential freedom. Because that proffer agreement, what he told to Greg Kading, can't be used against him that day.
Okay.
But if he chose to retell it the next day, that's all evidence. So all the book, evidence, my interview, evidence, all those other interviews, evidence. And to
everybody's listening, I want you to understand what me and Vlad is talking about. Even though you ain't pulled the trigger, you're accessory to the crime.
Correct.
Just remember that. You're accessory to the crime. And unfortunately, with Mr. Keefe, he's the only one that's still alive that was in the vehicle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, if Keefe had, he did the statement with Greg Kading, if he had never said anything else, he'd be living his life outside.
Let me ask you a
right
question. Now. Why do you think it took the police so long? Do you think because he just kept... do you think they got upset? Like, you're not going to keep throwing this in our face?
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of it.
Yeah, right?
And what you have to understand is that...
we're about to let you go, motherfucker. You keep talking about it.
I've always heard this. The wheels of justice turn very slowly. It takes a long time for the authorities to lay everything out. Because, a grand jury that's very serious. I remember I was talking to a lawyer friend of mine yesterday, and he was saying how, because a grand jury, I don't know if you know how grand juries work.
I know how they work.
You know how they work. California doesn't have grand juries.
Right.
But Las Vegas has grand juries, which is where Keefe is right now. A grand jury, unlike a regular court case, they put a grand jury together, and the police present their evidence to the grand jury. And then they can keep doing it for weeks, for months, a year even. That every week they can come and here's some more evidence. But wait, we're not done yet. We'll see you in a week. Okay, here's some more. They can keep going. There's a famous quote by Johnny Cochran that said that I can convict a ham sandwich with a grand jury. You know what I mean? If you just it's not like a court case. A court case, you got everything. Let's just say after the person was found out guilty, you find some more evidence. Well, that's too bad. You should have found it before the court case. At this point, he's found out guilty. It's over. You know what I mean? If they find a tape of OJ saying, I really killed her, and here's a video of me doing it, too late. He was found out guilty. But a grand jury could keep going until they're finally...
27 years, though? Let me tell you my theory.
But it went on, that grand jury went on for months.
Yeah, let me tell you my theory. I think someone said, motherfucker, you ain't gonna keep talking about this and don't think nothing's gonna happen. And he just kept talking too much.
Yeah.
And somebody said, let's go get him.
And the theory of why Vegas initially didn't go after this case. According to Greg Kading, this is the theory. This is just a theory, but it makes a lot of sense. You got to understand where Vegas was in 1996.
Okay.
When you go to Vegas now, it's very much an adult playground.
Right.
Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You got these commercials of a businesswoman getting into a limo, coming out in a sexy red dress, about to, get some side dick or whatever else, But in 1996, Vegas was going through a rebranding of being a family-friendly location. Yes, there's gambling, but bring your family. We got circus. Bring your kids. We got kid-friendly. Bring your wife. We're not going to have these prostitutes on the street and everything else like that. Yes, there's gambling, but we want the whole family to come out and get that family money.
See that angle.
Right? Now, when you're trying to rebrand as a family location, do you want to have a court case where the biggest rapper in the world just got killed, a bunch of rappers shooting at each other on Flamingo Avenue, and every day in the news, they're talking about these rappers shooting each other or a rapper getting killed? How's that going to affect all the families that want to go there? I don't want to go there. People are getting shot.
That's a theory, because when you really think about it, I don't think that when the cops go to arrest someone, they think about that.
A lot of times it comes from the top.
That's true, too.
When the mayor tells you, Leave this case alone.
I can see that too.
People think that it's just like the cops get a case. They keep working on it
high
until it's
profile,
solved.
yeah.
Not true.
That's not
Not true. Let me tell you, one of my security guards out here is NYPD.
Mhm.
And he told me to my face, he said, listen, there's a bunch of open murder cases right now in New York City. But every day, the chief of police looks at the news and said, okay, this case is all over the news. We got to work on this.
Right.
Everyone's life is important. There's no reason why this case is more important than these other 10 cases we have. But this case is in the New York Post.
Okay.
This case is on VladTV. This case is here. We got to work this case because everyone's asking that we're not doing our job. And then, we could do a press conference. Then I'll get it. Because, I mean, the commissioner is a elected position, I believe.
Right.
So the commissioner is trying to get reelected.
Okay.
You don't get reelected by having a bunch of high-profile, unsolved cases. No, they get reelected because they could do their job.
Okay.
So a lot goes into it, man. And really, yeah, if you keep publicizing something, if you keep pushing it, and, there's millions and millions of views behind it, well, now they have a reason to pursue a case because there's so much publicity.
Yes.
Because if you take Keefe out of the situation, people still think that Suge had him set up.
Right.
People think that the government had him set up. People think he still lives in Pac is in Cuba.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? People think that, he's hiding in Peru somewhere or something.
If Keefe would have just...
Yeah, he would live out the rest of his years.
None of this will be talked about.
None of this will be talked about.
This will be a mystery for generations to come.
Because I still don't know who killed Biggie.
Right.
I honestly don't.
Right.
People say, oh, so now you can solve Biggie's case. I don't know.
Right, that's true.
I don't know. Because you know why? Everyone who's involved in it hasn't said anything.
That's right.
Oh, like I bring people in, like Reggie Saunders. Oh, it's this one guy, this blood that was down with Suge. Okay, where's he at right now? He's dead. Oh, it's this other guy that he's dead. Oh, Suge knows. Suge ain't talking.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be quiet.
I've never heard anyone say I was involved in Biggie's murder.
Never.
Never heard that.
That's
never
so
heard that.
true.
Never heard that said.
To this day, no one knows.
No one knows.
No one knows. That's true.
And I think eventually everyone that does know will die.
Yes.
And that will be the end of the story.
That'll
and
be
there
the
will
story.
be an unknown mystery.
Unknown mystery. I
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, right now there's the whole Israeli Gaza situation. And I really thought about this.
Okay.
And I'm Jewish myself.
Okay.
I've been to Israel and I've been to Palestine.
Yes.
I've met with Israeli families in Israel. I met with Palestinian family in Palestine. We actually went over and met with them and everything else like that. But my take, and I've made public statements about this, is that I feel that both sides are wrong.
Okay.
I feel that the leaders of both these places are, their policies are killing the civilians.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely don't agree with what Hamas did. Coming in, killing hundreds of people, killing Americans, kidnapping people, killing kids, and killing concert goers and everything else like that. And I also don't believe in the policies that Israel has put on Palestine in the Gaza Strip. It basically created an open air prison. There's lots of barricades. They can't really move freely. It's 2 million people there. And there's been a lot of bad feelings. I'm not a fan of the Israeli government.
Right.
And I put that out there. And I basically said, look, listen, Kehlani recently made a video saying, she's, I believe she's Palestinian or Arabic. And she's like, yo, we need to say something. Like all these entertainers aren't saying anything, need to say something.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a tweet.
I saw it.
I said, has anyone noticed the most famous Jewish person on earth, Drake, and the most famous Palestinian person on earth, DJ Khaled, haven't said a single thing about the Gaza-Israeli conflict?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Drake is too busy. He's been writing paragraphs about Joe Budden hurting his feelings about his new album. DJ Khaled has been working overtime promoting his new Jordan sneakers, but both of them have been silent on this topic. Why is that? It's because both of them are so thirsty to maintain their relevance, they wouldn't dare risk insulting a segment of their fan base. Heaven forbid that Drake might debut a number 2 behind Taylor Swift because some of his Palestinian fans choose not to stream his album. It'd be the end of the world if Khaled sold a few less sneakers because some Jewish people decide not to buy his Jordans. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between artists of today and timeless legends like Tupac. You know damn well Pac would be the first one to speak about something that's so close to home.
That's so true.
If something that happened with Pac that he identified with, that he grew up with, he'd be the first person.
I totally agree.
would not hold his tongue.
Not at all.
And if he lost some sponsors or whatever, screw it.
Right. I totally
And some
agree.
people say, well, Drake is really black. He's not really Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And what I say to that is, Drake has a Jewish mother,
Does.
which by Jewish law makes him Jewish.
Right.
At 5 years old, his dad and his mom divorced. And he lived with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
His white Jewish mother and her Jewish family in a Jewish neighborhood
Right.
called Forest Hills in Toronto.
Right.
At 13 years old, he had a bar mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
He's very Jewish.
He's very Jewish.
He's very Jewish. Before he was Wheelchair Jimmy
Yes.
on Degrassi, he was Jewish. Before he was Drake the rapper, he was Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
So it hits very close to home whether he wants to admit it or not.
Right.
Before DJ Khaled produced a record, he was Palestinian. Before he ever DJ'd a club with Luke, he was Palestinian.
You're right. He was.
His family are all Palestine, from Palestine. I don't want them to take a side. I don't want them to denounce a certain side, unless they, of course, feel like it. But they should say something. That's how I feel.
Okay. I respect that.
What's your take on it?
I don't discuss religion and politics. I want to tell you how I was raised. I don't discuss religion and politics, but I will make two things.
Okay.
I'm much older than you, but I've been seeing this since I was a child on the news, these fights.
This conflict's been going our entire lives, even your life.
Yes.
Your entire life.
Entire life.
Israel and Palestine have not gotten along.
Not got along. And I'm tired of it. And I think this is something that's never going to be fixed. I hope they figure something out. This right here, to the young kids who might just found out about this type of war and these things happen. Because those people don't follow that stuff over there. We've been following since we was kids.
Yeah.
They've been doing this since we was kids.
Before that.
Yeah.
Since the 40s.
Yeah, they've been doing this a long time.
They have.
And I have no take on it. I feel bad about the murders and what they did to the babies.
Well, I'm going to say this. In my Breakfast Club interview, I had mentioned that Hamas had decapitated a bunch of babies.
Yes.
And people were pointing out, and that was the story that was running up until that day when I guess the Israeli government said that they can't confirm that actually happened. So I'm not sure that happened.
I was watching CNN News. No,
some outlets have reported on it.
Yes.
But I don't want to put, you know what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to sit there and taint the situation against one particular side with something that I saw hasn't been confirmed yet. So we're not going to put the whole cutting off the baby's heads.
I like how me and you agree like that.
It's okay.
I saw stuff on the CNN News. They said that it was heads.
Yeah.
They didn't show, but then they show pictures of the babies getting shot. But to follow your lead on it was one thing that we truly believe in. If we don't know something 100%, we are not going to discuss it.
We're not going to rock it.
Right.
We're not going to rock with it.
But I can tell you something from an OG to you.
Let's go.
When you see celebrities like Drake and DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
I think that you can never tell another man what he should say or how he should move. And let me tell you why. It's like people who have a lot of money and you say, oh, they should do this for the homeless or they should do. You can't count someone else's money and you can't tell someone else how they should feel just because they're quiet. I think that you can voice your opinion. I have a suggestion that this is how I feel, but from your end, you think they should speak up, but they could be doing something privately to do something for those families. You just never know. So being an OG.
Yeah. Listen, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know Drake. I don't know Khaled.
But you're so animate, you're so passionate about it.
And you know something? And my passion has woken people up. Like the whole Kehlani thing, I think, was based on what I said. Drake's dad was interviewed by TMZ, and they asked the same question that I've been asking.
What happened? What did he say?
He said, well, when it comes to celebrities like Drake, you don't want to say something that's going to piss off the other side. If you say something about the other side, it'll piss off the first side. So sometimes it's better not say anything. But then again, Drake's dad is not Jewish.
No.
I don't think Drake's dad went to Drake's bar mitzvah.
Here's
you know
the thing
what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Here's what I'm interpreting from that. In the 60s, when you see Kareem, Jim Brown,
rest in peace.
Who they stood for something because of what the consequences are.
Yeah. Especially Jim Brown.
Let's even go to the Olympics when
raised the fist.
They raised the fist with the black glove
and
right?
lost their medals.
Lost their medals.
Yeah.
They believed to the point they didn't care.
Yeah.
Even though their families was upset. You ever saw that documentary?
Nah.
The people who raised their fist,
yeah.
the families got so much backlash.
Huh. Especially back then, yeah.
Back then because they did that, right?
Yeah.
The world we live in today, people don't want, for some reason, they don't want to take chances.
Well, you saw what Kaepernick went through.
Yeah. They don't want to take. They really got us in a box. We don't speak up no more because people can't handle the consequences of what comes with it. People don't want to lose their money. People don't want to lose their fame. People don't want to be looked at a wrong way. And I understand what you're saying. I'm older than you. I get it. What you're saying should be on the top of the list. It should be coming hard. People just don't move like that no more, Vlad.
Let me tell you, after I said what I said and I went on the Breakfast Club and doubled down on it, do you know how many very high power people reached out to me personally?
They agree with what you're saying.
100%.
Yeah.
And they said, bravo. I mean, we're talking about people worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People that everyone's heard of they're like, yo.
Right. I agree.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you for saying, because you know something? Most people don't say anything. And I'm okay. I'm okay. And if a couple of guests don't want to come on VladTV because of my stance, that's okay.
Right.
I don't know. Drake wasn't fucking with me anyways. Khaled wasn't fucking with me anyways. So I don't care about these two. But I'm saying if other people have a problem with it, that's okay.
As a man, I respect.
You've seen my history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've stood my ground through a lot of attacks. Through a lot of attacks. There's people I do not talk to at all that used to be friends of mine.
That's right.
That I won't talk to again.
That's so true.
Because they went way over the top of their criticism.
Right.
We don't have to name any names.
Right. We have to name any
I'm
names.
saying, but notice I never folded. I never bent my knee. I never changed my stance, no matter what I lost.
That's how come I believe in what you're saying. See,
I believe it. It runs deep, and I feel like eventually people understand who I am and the strength of my stance. Because a lot of other people, when they've said something, they've had to apologize, go on an apology tour, say they didn't mean it. Donate a bunch of money to this organization. No, change their shoe deals and whatever else. Right. No, that's not me. That's not me. I've stood where I stood, and I'm very much, I'm saying, let me tell you something. I'm not going to say who it is, but someone reached out to me who's very, very high up in this game, was like, yo, I heard what you said, and I've reached out to a bunch of very prominent, rich Jewish people, and we want you to be involved in putting together this organization that's going to raise a bunch of money and give it to Palestinian families directly.
Awesome.
Not to Jewish families. Yeah. Israel's okay financially.
Right.
It's the Palestinian people that are messed up right now. That we're going to try to raise some money for the Palestinians. I'm not sure if it's going to happen yet. It's just an idea.
It's an idea.
But people are with it.
Yes.
People are with it to actually have a group of Jewish people donating to the Palestinian people who are affected by this conflict. Not the ones who are involved in shooting.
Let me ask you a question. I'm still kind of, in all these years, right? I never did my homework on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. What the fuck is this about?
This is a tough one.
Okay.
This is a tough one. Essentially what happened was, and I'm sure people are going to tear this apart and whatever else in the comments, I don't care.
Okay.
When the Holocaust happened and millions of Jews were killed, Israel / Palestine, however you want to call it, during that time was an English colony.
Okay.
And it was a bit of a mess. There was a lot of conflict, a lot of war in that region and so forth. And it was decided that the United Nations decided to give that region to the Jewish people as their homeland.
Okay.
The Palestinians who were living there at the time did not like that.
Okay.
Because they were living there. And then at that point, war started to break out where a lot of the Arab countries.
Because they felt their land was taken.
They felt their land was taken.
Okay.
The other Arab Muslim countries had a problem with it. And originally, Israel was a very small place.
Okay.
Right? All the countries attacked it. Israel's military ended up beating all those countries and took over the land of all those countries.
Now, is there something valuable there?
Well, it's land.
Okay, so it's just land.
It's land.
Okay.
Very valuable, right? It's only a limited amount.
No, what I'm saying is not oil. They're not fighting for oil.
Not exactly. No, it's just land. And
Okay.
Israel expanded in size a lot during that region, during that time. And those countries were like Syria and so forth. They're still very upset because they lost a bunch of very prime real estate during this time. But Israel during that time started to develop very quickly and became a first world country. You've never been to Israel, right?
No, never.
It's like America.
Okay.
Internet, great roads, retail stores, whatever. But when you go into some of the other Arab countries, they're still a little bit, third world.
Okay.
I remember going across the border from Israel into Egypt, and it was a whole different story.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It wasn't as developed of a country. So, unfortunately, and I feel like the Israelis took too much land.
Okay.
And they could have compromised and given some of it back, but they didn't.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of
it's
over land. Damn. It's over land. And from the Israeli point of view, like, well, we won it. Y'all attacked us in a war. We took the land, whatever. And from there, well, y'all took our land. Y'all didn't have to keep it all that shit. They could have given it back. And then Israel, the Palestinians are sort of caught in the middle of all this.
Okay.
Because
so these people are dying over the land.
Over land. Yeah. And Hamas, whose last election happened around 2005, 2006, is a political party with an army associated with it.
Okay.
Some people call them a terrorist organization, some people don't, or whatever else. But Hamas doesn't view Israel as a legal state. They just look at them as occupiers. So they don't talk directly to Israel. They have to talk through a third party. So there's no communication.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. And
then the bad feelings. So then when Hamas took over Gaza as the ruling party, Israel was like, well, this is a big problem because Hamas has a long history of bombings and terrorist activities and so forth.
Hamas?
Hamas is a Palestinian organization.
So that's an organization, not a city, not a country.
No, it's an organization, a group of people
Hamas,
who basically wants to take Israel over and make it all Palestine.
Okay.
Which honestly
and Gaza
is an area on the border of Israel.
Group of people. Gaza is an area
in Palestine.
Okay, all right. Palestine is one nationality.
Palestinians, yeah.
Palestinians is one nationality, and Israelites is another nationality.
Pretty much.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Right. And you got to understand, because people think, oh, it's white versus brown. No, like 40% of Israel is
so
Sephardic
that's good
Jews.
to say that, because I think some people think it's racism.
No.
It's about land.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a mess, man. There's no real good solution.
So here's my question. Glad you said that. Yeah. What do you think they should do?
What I think they should do?
Yeah, what do you think they should do?
What I think they should do is say, listen, we're going to give up a whole bunch of this land and give it back to Palestine. Y'all can have your own country. We're going to recognize you as a country if you recognize us as a country. Here's a bunch of land that we took that we're going to give back to you, a bunch of prime real estate, and we're going to compromise, and everyone can live where they want to live in peace on the land they want to live in. But but it gets more complex than that, because Jerusalem is inside of Israel, and the old city of Jerusalem is the main religious center for three of the world's major religions.
Okay.
The Jews all want it because it's a very important part to the Jewish religion.
Yes.
The Muslims, there's a section. It's actually, Jerusalem is carved up. There's a Jewish section, a Muslim section, and a Christian section.
All in the same damn
All
area?
in the same damn city.
Wow.
And the Jews can't go in the Muslim section. The Muslims can't go in the Jewish section. The Muslims have what people consider sort of like the best part, because the Rock of Life, that big golden dome is in the Muslim section. And that's where Muslims believe God, well, everyone sort of, Jews and Muslims and Christians believe that God made the earth in this right there at that point.
Okay.
And there's a big rock
Holy
there.
land in a sense.
It's holy. It's all holy. You see what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it's like the Muslims don't want to let go and say, okay, we're done with Jerusalem because it's an important place for them.
I understand.
It's one of the holiest places for their religion.
So everything is based on everybody's beliefs.
Yes.
Damn.
It's a mess.
You're never gonna
It's a
get that
mess,
shit
and that's
straightened
why
out.
it's been going on for so long.
Okay.
People don't like to compromise when it comes to God.
Yeah.
This is why I'm not religious. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like, listen, it's just real estate.
That's what I'm saying.
Give it to
Like,
whoever.
right.
Fuck it. You're going to kill someone over some dirt and some rocks?
That's what I'm saying.
Because it's dusty and hot out there.
Yeah.
But, this is where Jesus was crucified.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you go around Jerusalem and you see all the steps when he was carrying the cross. Oh, he stumbled right here, and there's a big plaque right there. Oh, this is
Wow.
where so-and-so gave him some water. Plaque
Okay.
right there. In fact, when I was there, we actually went to the Church of the Sepulchre, which is the church was built over the spot where Jesus was crucified, and there's a tomb that allegedly has Jesus' body in there. We're not sure, but you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it was
Okay.
built on top of the crucifixion. So the Christians don't want to give it up either. So it's a big mess,
It
man.
sounds like a big. Like I said, I don't discuss religion, but I'm glad you brought it because when I watch the news, I'm lost.
Well, now you know a little bit.
Yeah, I'm lost.
And
So
I've
to
been
hear,
there, man. I've been there.
Yeah,
And
to
I've-
hear it.
Yeah, it's a breakdown. And
I
I'm
don't
sure
know if they
people will
can-
say, oh, Vlad's wrong. It's really like this. But this is generally the story.
Yeah, so here's the thing: like me and you, businessmen, and we're not negotiate. Like, we get as long as everybody walks away happy, right?
Well,
what
a great
can happen?
negotiation means
This ain't happening. It's too much confusion.
A great negotiation means that everyone is unhappy with it,
Yes.
with the final outcome,
Right.
Which is the mark of a great negotiation.
Yes.
If one person's happy, the other person's not happy, that was a bad negotiation.
That's so true.
All the negotiations I've done when I've dealt with court situations, I was pissed off afterwards, and the other party was pissed off, but ultimately we all walk away and we're done.
Right.
So at some point, I'm hoping that they do.
Because it's about, man, let me tell you, it goes with real life. The goal, when you go through something, is can you obtain, and we talked about this before, peace of mind.
Well, what's interesting, I'm going to say this one thing and get off the topic because we're kind of going too deep in this.
Okay.
Back in 1995, Israel and Palestine were still going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Shootings,
I remember.
wars, everything else like that. The general in Israel was a guy named Rabin. The head of Palestine was Yasser Arafat.
Mm-hmm. I remember his name.
They were both generals. For years, they've been killing each other, their soldiers, over and over and over and over again. Rabin became president of Israel, or prime minister of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And he was getting old at this point. Arafat was getting old. They both realized that this is going nowhere, and if they want their grandchildren to have some peace, they're going to have to work it out. They went to America, they met with Bill Clinton, and on national television, they shook hands. Nobody could believe this happened. These were arch enemies. Each one of them looked at the other one as the devil, you know.
I remember
and they
that too.
shook hands, and they started the peace process. They started making compromise. They started giving back land. They started saying, "No, we're not going to attack you." Blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened was, Rabin had a peace rally in Israel, I believe in Jerusalem, because we went out there when I went to Israel.
Okay.
And there was a young Jewish guy who was very right-wing and radicalized. He didn't like the peace process. Because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Not everyone wants peace.
so
Some
true.
people are like, no, this is our shit.
Right.
Fuck these Palestinians or fuck these Jews.
Right.
No, we're not compromising. You know, like Hamas doesn't
Right.
compromise. Like
Right.
we don't recognize you as a state. We're not even going to talk to you.
Right.
Like some people are very, very right-wing and are not going to bend on their belief.
So true.
And it happens on both sides. And there was a
Mm-hmm.
young kid who was basically like, Rabin is the devil. He's giving away all our land to these evil Palestinians. And he started meeting with these really radical rabbis. And there's a Jewish law that says that if a Jewish person kills other Jewish people, you're allowed to kill him to save other Jews. And he was meeting with rabbis because, Rabin, he's killing Jewish people for this policy, so shouldn't he be killed? And they're like, well, technically, yes. I mean, you could look at it this way, not thinking anything's going to happen. During a rally, This guy walked up to Rabin and killed him in front of everybody. And then it all fell apart. All the peace process, everything. That's when Netanyahu came in, I think, sometime afterwards, who was not trying to talk that peaceful shit. And here we are, 30 years later.
Isn't that I didn't know that part. Damn.
It's sad. Had he lived and had he not been killed?
No, yeah.
And Alan Dershowitz, who I told you, the lawyer, Mike Tyson's lawyer.
Now I know who you're talking about.
That guy, the guy who killed Rabin, wanted him to represent him. And he was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I know Alan Dershowitz. He's been in a lot of big, he handled a lot of big cases.
A lot of big shit. He was a part of OJ's case.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears. We've been talking about this enough.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj and Cardi B have been going at it now for years. At the VMAs recently, Nicki Minaj's husband
I saw that.
Got on camera, told Offset to plan his funeral, got all his homies from Queens, so wish a motherfucker would.
Right.
Yeah, let a motherfucker jump up, see what happens. Someone contacted the district attorney in Los Angeles, in the county of where they lived.
Right.
Nicki Minaj's husband is a registered sex offender.
Right.
Which means that for life, he has to follow under certain codes, threatening people, associating with known felons, put him on 4-month house arrest.
Yes, I saw that. I was disappointed in that. I just think that when you pull a baddie, because Nicki Minaj fine.
Yeah.
I think I did it on one of my another interview. I talked about you gotta move like Stedman, Oprah Winfrey's boyfriend. You ain't never heard.
Seen, not heard.
To this
I don't even know what his voice sounds like.
Exactly.
Is he a mute?
Exactly.
Can he actually talk?
And if you kids don't understand what I mean, what I mean is you move. When you get to a certain age, you get money, you got a good woman, you take care of you shut the fuck up, all that threatening people and fighting each other for what? Like, this is crazy. And God bless Cardi B. She grew up to be such a fine woman. Like, I remember when she first grew up, we was on the Breakfast Club. She was the guest right before me. And she had voluptuous breast cleavage. Because I was in the lobby looking at Charlamagne interview. So who this fine ass woman? But she was a young kid.
Yeah.
But I still was looking.
Right.
But I didn't know it was Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
And as I watched her career, from her albums, the management, she was suing management, they were stealing from her. Yeah. She wound up going to a certain place. I think I booked her back in the day on a couple shows. Okay. She grew up to be a gorgeous woman. Now, I don't agree with everything she says sometimes as a woman, but man, she's fine. So when you got a gorgeous woman, two beautiful ladies, I wish they could work it out. I wish that the two men could find a way to show balance out here in the world, because they are truly influencing young women and young men.
Here's the thing about Nicki, though. So I had put up another tweet that went, I think, even more viral than this other tweet.
Right.
I'm surprised how viral I go, because I don't have a huge Twitter account. I have like 200,000 followers, which is small compared to a lot of people.
Right.
But clearly people, are affected by what I say. So I said this. I said, and I know about Nicki's history. I said, Nicki Minaj's husband is on house arrest for threatening Offset. Right after that, Nicki previews a song on IG saying she got killers who will pull up and do what she say. This is the same Nicki Minaj who threatened to send her husband to Academic's house to go break his jaw.
Oh, I didn't know all that. Yeah.
And threatened his family. So I know where his family lives.
Right.
Tell me what your address is. My husband wants to come see you. This is the same Nicki. Hold on. Let me just finish. This is the same Nicki, and this is a story I heard from multiple people. This is the same Nicki who told Meek Mill to have his crew beat up Quentin Miller. Because Quentin was, this was during the whole Drake beef. And Quentin was writing for Drake, didn't want to write for Meek.
I remember that.
From what I heard, Nicki was in the car and told Meek, you need to go handle that shit. Nicki sent his dudes to go out and beat up Quentin Miller, which really happened.
Right, saw that.
I said, have you ever heard a woman scream, my man will fuck you up over something she started herself? That's Nicki. If you want to see how these stories end, check out my interview with Travis Rudolph. After an argument with his girlfriend, His girlfriend sent her brother and 3 guys to go shoot up his house. One of them ended up dead. Another one got shot. Travis was charged with murder, which he luckily beat in trial due to self-defense. To all the men out there, I don't care how fat her ass is or how good the sex is. Avoid women like Nicki who use men as crash dummies like the plague. I said what I said.
And I respect that. And you're absolutely 1,000% right. And
have you ever had a woman that goes out there and expects you to handle her messes?
No. I don't fuck with them.
Oh, I had that.
Yeah.
I had
and
that.
Here's the thing about men, if you do get a woman like that, right? Leadership. See, when a woman tells you what to do, in a sense, no matter where you are in your life, it's something about that man that's not leading. Because a real man is going like, bitch, I ain't doing the got me fucked up. What the fuck is wrong with you? like it's some things you just gotta check.
Right.
And then some women know how if you move a certain way, they'll say, oh, I ain't running that past his ass. He don't play.
Right.
And with Nicki, and I don't know what kind of man she's dealing with. I just know if I was her man, she would be moving totally a different way.
Well, but I don't think Nicki respects the men that she's with.
If a woman is telling another man to do X, Y, and Z, she don't respect the man.
Let me tell you, this is a real story. One of my security guys out here, I'm hanging out with him.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was in the room. He was doing security for, I forgot who it was, but DJ Self has a radio show out here.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj was with Safari at the time, right? They were boyfriend, girlfriend since like high school. She shows up to DJ Self's radio show. They're having an interview. Self says, so Nicki, are you single? Are you dating? She goes, oh, I'm single. Yeah, come holler at me, whatever. Safari's standing right there. Safari was like, huh? What? She said, shut the fuck up. Don't ever fucking talk while I'm doing interviews. You sit here and you fucking be quiet, and just violated him in front of that whole room. My guy was watching this going like, damn. Like everyone in the room was just quiet, watching Nicki cuss Safari out.
Wow.
In front of everybody.
Ain't no fucking, and I don't like cursing on here. Ain't no fucking way I'm gonna let a woman talk to me like that. But there's one thing I learned in life.
What's that?
A man gotta know who to date and who not to date. And what I mean by that is, if there's a woman, gentlemen, I want y'all listen very carefully. If there's a woman that can bring violence out you or make you change who you are as a man, run from that woman.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I had that, man. I had this girl who was bad. She looked good. The sex was cool, whatever. I was all, whatever, sprung on her and everything else like that. But she just had this weird chip on her shoulder. And we would go out and, let's say we go to the post office and she'd go to mail something and someone, like, she'd be working the table and someone would, like, grab this bitch. She's like, excuse, that's my fucking paper. And,
I've seen people like that.
And the guy would be like, yo, why are you talking to me like that? It's my fucking paper. Are you stupid? And I'd have to step in and be like, hey, listen, she's had, hey, it's okay, and she's expecting me to handle this shit.
Right.
And after a couple of times, or she'd be walking around and she'd have her ass crack out. And I'd be like, yo, can you not dress like this?
Right.
Oh, what, I can't dress how I want? And I'm like, no, you could dress how you want, but you're attracting a level of attention that I then have to deal with. Because if a man goes and says some shit, I'm right there. Now I might have a,
as a man, you feel like you should defend.
She whatever. You know what I mean? She don't care. And it's like, and like, listen, I'm not a punk. Like, I mean, I didn't have to get in any fights, but I'd have to defuse situations to the point I'm like, I can't do this shit anymore.
And that's what I want men to say. No matter how fine you think a girl is, don't risk your life.
Well, because if a woman respects you, she's not going to put you in that situation.
Yeah, going to put you in that situation. But there's some people, they just don't get it. I understand. Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. And the guy still rock with her, like, and you go, what the?
Well, I mean, but think about it. Her husband is a registered sex offender. He got other kids. You know what I'm saying? He's got a criminal record. He got nothing going on. And it's not like he's even involved in her career. Because when it was like, oh, he's on house arrest for 4 months. What's the difference? He has no job.
Right.
You know what I mean? He sits at home with the kid anyways. He doesn't help her write her songs. He's not her road manager. He's not her producer. He's not her ghostwriter. Safari at least was kind of helping her with her music, and they would kind of, not ghostwrite, but they would collaborate, and he would help pick her beats and stuff like that.
That's another thing.
This dude is just someone she used to date before that she could, that's going to do whatever she says. And
obviously, now that I got all the information that you're telling me,
no, it's wild.
Obviously, man, and I know you got your information.
I got my information.
On point.
When I brought this up to Faison, what he says that there's certain types of women that like men to just be their dress-up dolls.
Yes.
They'll get their man, they'll put all the Versace and Louis on them, give him a watch, give him some nice shoes, take some pictures with them, and then, but that's all their shit.
That's it, yeah.
Some women just want a man they can control, that they could dress up the way they want, and they will sit there and follow them around.
That's so far from my way of
thinking.
So
far from my way. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't even like dating women that have more money than me.
I could date a woman that have more money than me.
I did. I didn't like it.
No, you didn't like it?
Didn't like it.
It was ego.
Yes.
Yeah, ego. And ego. How they played it.
Yeah, it's ego.
Because some women who have more money than you, they do it on purpose to show they got more money than you.
I remember.
Then you got some women who just you never know they have a dollar.
No, I know. Man, listen, I remember when we were talking, when we were dating, and we were thinking about maybe this might get more serious. Mm-hmm. And her family, she was from Indonesia. This was like the one Asian girl that I dated throughout my life, and her family was like rich from Indonesia. And she said, if we get married, my parents will just buy us a mansion. And I'm thinking like, well, this does sound good. But then it'll be their mansion.
Yes.
And she can kick me out.
Right.
Do I want that? Right. Do I want a house that I don't really own?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like, as opposed to, hey.
I don't think it's that you're upset. I think that's not just the way you move.
It's just not the way I move.
Yeah, that's not the way you move.
It's not the way I move.
Yeah, it's not that you can't deal with it.
Because I feel like
you want to have you a boss.
Listen, I even at that point, I was maybe 25 at the time. Like, I'm going to buy my own mansion at one point. I don't need to get with someone that's going to help me skip the line. I'll get to the end of the line myself.
And that's a character of a man.
That's just me.
Yeah.
And look, at 50 years old, I got my own mansion.
Here's the thing. That's a character of a man.
Yeah.
You understand? When there's certain characters of a man, you can't play. You don't linger and go both ways. When you're a man, you're a man. Yeah. Bottom line is how you cut.
That's it.
It's how you move.
Yeah.
Nothing's
going to change to it.
No compromise to it.
I'm not wearing a dress.
And I'm saying
I'm not wearing high heels. I'm not wearing a wig.
And I'm saying to you,
I'm not going to put on lipstick.
You're a man.
I'm a man.
And that's what it is.
You've never seen me look like this.
Yeah.
You never see me in subservient positions.
I rock with you.
Yeah.
But I ain't moving like that.
I ain't moving like that. You ain't
gonna be able to put me the fuck out my house.
Exactly.
And we talk about this all the time?
Yeah.
We try to teach him anyway. To be a man.
Right.
Man, even if you got to work 2 motherfucking jobs, don't you let no fucking woman put you out on the street. That's,
exactly.
Nigga, you got your character as a man.
Right.
It's fucked up.
That's why I've always hated the concept of felonies, of being forever punishment, because you get a felony, you come out, you can't rent an apartment. You can't rent a house. Oh, you didn't know this?
No.
A person who comes out of prison with a felony, when they go to apply for an apartment, they have to check off whether they have a felony or not. Now, they can choose not to check it off, but then they will do a background search on you.
Yeah, they sure will.
Now, look, if I'm a landlord, right, and you apply, you want to get an apartment in one of my buildings, and if I say, you know something, I'm not going to rent to you because you're black, you could sue me.
Right.
I'll get in a lot of trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But if I say, I'm not going to rent to you because you're a felon, perfectly legal. Perfectly legal.
A new credit, but a felony.
A felony will keep you, now certain places will be like, okay, well, in certain areas, especially, okay, a bunch of our tenants are felons and we kind of let that go, whatever else. But, but you try to go into a nice area, they don't want felons living with them because it potentially could cause problems, right? And they can legally tell you they're not going to rent to you. So what happens next? Now you got to go find a woman to live with.
So true.
Now it's not going to be the best woman. It's going to be a woman who's, overweight,
right? Maybe
has 3 or 4 kids from 5 or 6 baby fathers. She don't know whose is whose yet. Man. You know what I'm saying? And you know what happens if you get into that argument? Get out of my house.
Yep.
My man Jason Weaver, the actor,
Yes.
is on The Chi right now with that exact same situation. You know, I mean, as his character on the show,
Right.
it's a guy that got out of prison, got with this nice kind of middle-aged lady who works at a nice art gallery, and but he ain't got no job. And at one point, she's my house. Oh, your house. Oh, you know what I mean. And then at one point, he's, he don't have a job, so he tries to hide some guns in the house. She finds those guns. He comes home. His bags are packed.
Right.
Get out of my house.
That's right.
I don't want this shit in my house. In my house.
Yep.
Now, if it was their house, it'd be like, well, listen, we gotta work it out.
Right.
Yes, I did wrong, but
Right.
my name's on the lease. But get out of my house. And this is why I feel like it's a forever punishment. It's a revolving door, and it needs to change.
I agree.
Because regardless of what you did, if you go to prison, you've served your time, you should come out with somewhat of a blank slate.
I agree. You serve your time served.
Time
You're done.
served. You've paid your
paid
cost
your
to
dues. Yep.
society.
Yep.
You should come out and be able to start your life over.
I respect that. I like
I
that.
respect it.
Yep, I do.
Soulja Boy actually cussed me out today.
How Soulja Boy? What's going on with
He
Soulja
cussed
Boy?
out me, Adam 22, Sean Cotton, and I think it's because we're all reporting on his legal situation.
With the 500,000 with the girl?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2019, Soulja Boy pistol whipped this girl at his house in Malibu.
Mm.
She sued him,
Mm.
and he lost $500,000 in that lawsuit.
Yes.
He claimed, oh, I don't got it. The judge said, well, she could take his property,
Mm-hmm.
his cars, and his jewelry.
Yeah.
And listen, Soulja Boy, I didn't make you pistol whip a woman.
Right.
And you know something? Soulja Boy don't like me. I don't like him these days either. I remember interviewing Teddy Riley. He apparently hit his daughter, Nia Riley, also
Right.
hit her in the face with a gun or some other
Right.
shit. Like she talked about that. Soulja Boy has an interesting history of beating women.
Okay.
I haven't heard him beat any men, but
Right. Ugh.
he likes to beat women apparently.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
going to tell you something I've learned in life. Since it's domestic violence, Vlad, let's not even discuss that.
Okay.
There's just certain characters in life we shouldn't give attention to.
Fair enough.
Yeah, shouldn't give attention to it.
We'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Sexyy Red is pregnant. You just find this out?
Someone's fucking Sexyy Red.
Yes. Well, she already has a baby with a guy who's in prison.
Now let's make sure I got the right Sexyy Red.
Red hair,
Not the dark-skinned girl
dark-skinned girl, yeah.
who just had the video leaked.
Yes, the sex tape, yeah. I'm not sure if that's the father or not. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Why you say it like that?
I had this is deja vu to me right now, right?
Why is that?
When I look at the young female rappers today,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't see no sexiness in these girls.
No? So Lotto, Ice Spice, you just
Nah,
not
I like her.
Ice
I
Spice?
like her look. That's the one that dated the basketball player, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Curly red hair.
Yeah. I like her, but her mom is fine.
Her mom is nice looking,
Her
yes.
mom fine and the motherfucker. Yo, her mom fine. When I hear the lyrics, I don't actually hear the songs. I hear people telling me about it. Because I'm out of that league. Like, there's things I don't deal with. So when I'm with Angela Yee, or if I'm with you, because you guys are so knowledgeable,
Yeah.
I'm learning things that I have no idea was going. But I see things. It just doesn't catch my attention.
Well, it's a Sexyy Red had the lyrics. My pussy pink.
Right, that's
my
it.
booty hole brown.
I talk about that on stage.
She said, I'm out here in Miami looking for a hoochie daddy. My son need a new pappy.
And she's pregnant.
And now she's pregnant. And you know something?
It's
I did a
fucking
poll.
hilarious.
I did a poll on my Twitter. I said, who is the biggest new female rapper right now? Ice Spice, Glorilla, Sexyy Red, and Lotto. Sexyy Red won. 2,000 votes.
The one that's pregnant.
Well, it's pregnant. This is before she got pregnant.
I don't know. Listen to me. I'm lost for words.
Yeah, man. Listen, and you know she was on tour with Drake. She's actually on Drake's new album.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people fuck with her, but you know, I mean, she's
not my taste, but
she's not my taste.
She's not my taste,
not
but
my taste either.
I'm glad that there's a lot of people that find her attractive and Sexyy Red. We wish you well with your child and the new baby. That's the best way to play this.
Listen, I am not going to tell a woman what to do with her body,
right?
But you got one baby father in prison right now. You now are pregnant by someone else. It doesn't seem like y'all ain't married. It doesn't seem like doesn't seem like this is a serious relationship because she's not claiming any men, whatever else.
Right.
Your career is starting to take off. Getting an abortion right now probably wouldn't have been the worst idea.
I totally agree. 1,000%.
You know, like I said, but I'm pro-choice. I'm not pro-life. You know,
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure some people, oh no, you keep every baby. No, listen. It's not the best time right now. Like she's really hitting her stride.
Yeah, she's
having a baby. I mean, listen, people still do shit with babies, but I'm saying like
it changes the game.
It changes the game.
It's like a
you
guy
already have one kid.
Yeah.
Now you got two.
It's like a guy being super famous because he's single and then he gets married.
Right.
Then
yeah,
his career is done, and vice versa.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, it's
we wish her well. Hey,
I wish her well, man. Listen, I wish her well.
Wish
She's
her
gonna have 2 kids soon, but yeah.
How old is she?
Let's find out. She looks like maybe in her 20s or maybe 30.
Yeah, how old is she? But I like that one with the orange hair, the one in the Bronx.
She's 25.
Yeah, she's a kid.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah, she's a kid. But that rap game is especially a young kid's game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I remember my last interview with Boosie. I said, can you name a single popular female rapper that doesn't have her ass and titties out pretty much in everything she does?
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't name one. Name me a top female rapper that don't have her ass out and her titties out. See what I mean? All of them.
I was trying to think.
Yeah.
No.
And I couldn't name one either. I mean, Glorilla kind of isn't like that. That's probably the only one that's a little bit more modest. Just because she doesn't have a really like a voluptuous body. She's relatively skinny, so there's not much to kind of show off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's probably Glorilla's probably the only one. She has a bit of a deep
Here's what's
kind of
funny.
voice.
Other than Sexyy Red, I just started hearing her. The girl, Ice Spice.
Spice.
But everybody else, I have no idea who you're talking about. Like, I'm really showing my age right here.
You're 63, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in the business, so you know, I have to know all this stuff. But yeah, that's what it is. What do you think about Kanye, though, these days? He was getting head from his wife in a boat in Italy.
I like that he got a little player in him in a sense, but he still ain't do it smooth enough because when you're such a big star, you know there's going to be cameras on you.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
And it's just some things
you know,
you move.
Yeah.
You move smooth. Like nobody moves smooth.
Man, I wish that I could have gone through the rest of my life without seeing Kanye's ass crack, but unfortunately I've seen it now.
Yeah,
and I can't unsee it.
This is crazy.
I didn't want to see it.
Right.
I didn't need to see it, but I saw it.
Kanye West.
You got to understand also, let me just say this,
Yes,
where
sir.
he was in Italy, he was on the boats, because the canals, the boats are like taxis.
Right.
He wasn't on a yacht with his ass out.
Right.
He was on a public, like there was other people on the damn boat.
Right. Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's banned from that water taxi.
Wait. He wasn't on there by himself?
No. There was a driver of the boat, and I think there were some other people around him too. And his wife was giving him head, and his ass was out. It was ridiculous.
I thought the way it looked, he was on there by himself.
No.
It was private.
No.
And someone actually took the picture.
No.
That's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Nobody has class no more.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for letting me know that. I thought it was private, and someone took a picture from far away, and they caught him. To the gentlemen out here, listen, always keep it classy.
Right. When I brought this up to Ari Spears in our recent interview, he said, I wish I was as rich as Kanye so I can get head on a boat with my ass out.
yeah, it's crazy.
Ari said he's so rich that it just doesn't matter anymore.
God, I want to be that rich.
You want to be that rich? You get head on a boat?
Ass out in Venice. getting head on the waves. I can't speak from experience because I don't know what that is yet, but I'm almost convinced that when you get to absurd amounts of money, it either makes you or breaks you. You know, there's something in that, there's something in them dollars, man. Yeah. And that level of status that can fuck with you.
Yeah, you know, no matter how rich you get,
always gotta keep it classy.
Always gotta keep it classy. So people don't understand that no more. Always gotta keep it classy.
Always gotta keep it classy.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've always kept it classy.
Always kept it classy.
You know what I mean? And I've kept it private.
And private. I mean, I talked to you in London and Italy. I love when I'm in Italy. I said, yo, I'm coming there the next day.
I'm in
I
Dubai.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Yeah, Dubai. Yeah.
Like, you don't have to put, you don't have to put all your information out there.
No.
Let people guess.
Yes.
Let people say this is who you're with.
Right.
Oh, I think this is his significant other. Okay,
Right.
y'all run with that.
I have a line about your loved ones. The ones you love the most get seen the less.
Exactly.
That's how you move.
Exactly.
That's how you move.
Brittany Renner did an interview with Shannon Sharp where she admitted to sleeping with 35 men.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon kind of like fell out of seat.
Right.
I don't really have a problem with that.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah.
But no one needed to know.
Well, but she's very front. I mean, listen, I've interviewed Brittany. I gave her her first ever interview.
Okay.
To be honest. And then I interviewed her again maybe about a year ago.
I'm trying to figure why ain't nobody like really pulled her.
Well,
she's an attractive woman.
Well, she has a baby with a basketball player.
I know, but she played him. But I'm talking
I don't think she played him.
You don't think she played him? It just didn't work out?
It just didn't work out.
Okay.
Just didn't work out.
The way it came across in information.
People go, listen, man, you find a pretty young lady, you have sex with her with no condom.
We talked about this.
You don't like to pull out.
Right.
She even said, she's like, I love cream pies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So she cool with you coming in her. You don't have a vasectomy.
Right.
She gonna get pregnant.
Yep.
The end.
The end.
Okay.
Did
she trap you? No. She didn't take a damn turkey baster and take it out the condom and squirt it inside her. Yeah. No. Y'all was fucking. You coming inside her. You making plans like they living together. Mm-hmm. She gets pregnant. It doesn't work out.
Right.
You know, a lot of men, when their women goes through pregnancies and they have a baby, the relationship will always change.
Yes, it does.
The relationship you have with your woman will not be the same after the pregnancy.
Absolutely.
You have to adjust.
You have to adjust.
And a lot of times, this is where marriage keeps things together, you know, because if you're not married, it's easier to just go your separate ways.
So true.
But I don't like the way they villainized her.
I respect that because
I know, because she did nothing wrong.
So here's what
she found a man that she was attracted to. He was tall, athletic, good looking, and they were having sex. She was a few years older, so people try to say it's whatever. But
the way you're talking makes sense.
Yeah.
Because from the little things I had put together, they did make out the scene like a villain, and I didn't have the whole story until what you just said. Makes, because we talked about this.
Yeah.
When you come in a woman and you ain't got no condom on and you, what we call any man but a high value man, it's going to cost you if she gets pregnant.
Right.
And I always said this before, and I'll say it again. Sex makes babies, not love.
Right. There you go. Sex makes babies.
That's right.
Not love.
Not love.
Facts.
These are facts.
Do you feel like, in terms of a woman that you have a serious relationship with, if she told you she has sex with 35 men, would that just be too high for you, or you don't care?
I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care either.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
You know what's more important than a body count? A clean STD test.
Yes, and character.
And character.
And character.
That as well.
Right, yeah. Because,
but a clean STD test is more important than character.
Yep, that's
if
important.
you got HIV, then
right,
you could be the nicest person in the world. I'm good.
Yep, I totally agree.
You know what I'm saying?
And no, it wouldn't bother me. And I'm glad that you told me about her, because I'm like, why ain't nobody pull this girl? She's saying, so when I saw her on the show, a clip talking about the 35, it touched me a little bit the wrong way, because I'm like, why mention it? Why mention it? Because I'm quite sure there's other men saw what I saw. When I saw without her talking, I said, this motherfucker woman fine. And you can get what my grandfather used to say, my great uncles used to say, you can get more honey, more bees with honey than vinegar.
Right.
Just be quiet, baby, because you ain't gonna have no problem men meeting you.
Right.
At all.
Now listen, as a man, you come to realize after a while, after dating, that a lot of women will like you, will be attracted to you, will like your game, like your clothes, you know, what you're about. It's usually you who talk your way out of some pussy.
I totally agree with you 1,000%.
It's very rare that you're quiet and you not get some pussy.
That's so true.
You open your mouth and say some shit that will turn her off.
Right, that's so
and you
true.
will not get some pussy.
Right. And if you say the right things, you can get it.
But you get to say the wrong thing. But
goes.
Usually it's better to say nothing.
Right,
if you see that the vibe is there, just shut your mouth.
Right.
Shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah, we move the same way.
Have you ever counted the number of women you slept with?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
I think I'm in the hundreds.
And I don't mind, though. Like, so how, you know, made me who I am today.
Yeah.
I tell people now my body's for the Lord. You know, I slang so much D-I-C-K back in the day that my body's for the Lord. But
have you ever had a long-term relationship?
Yeah, with two of my kids' mothers.
For how long?
5 years.
Each.
Okay. Yeah. 5 was
that's a good amount of time.
Yeah, 5 was my max.
Was there something that made you leave after the 5?
Yeah, it was always cheating.
You're cheating?
No, on their part.
They cheated?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's big of you to admit that.
Yeah, cheating on their part.
Okay.
Yeah, cheating on their part.
Were you cheating also?
I never got caught, so I wasn't cheating.
Black men don't cheat.
Yeah, no. I cheat, but I didn't get caught. So if I didn't get caught, I was cheating.
You were cheating.
That's right.
There you go. There you go. Well, you know, Tyler Perry, he says something interesting not too long ago. You know what I'm talking about, right? He said that to all the women out there, I think he actually said black women out there, it's okay if you're paying the mortgage and he pays the light bill. Stop being so hard on these men. I thought that was ridiculous.
When I heard it, I clicked real fast off it. And the first thing I said was he's entitled to his opinion. He must know something that I don't know. I just don't think men get on me. They think I'm hard on them when I say have your money right in the bank. Have 20-something thousand. And what I heard, what confused me, Vlad, people thought I said I wanted you to have 25,000 in the bank before you have sex. They thought I meant give the woman the money.
No.
I said, that's why I hate kids and immature people who don't have knowledge being in grown folks' conversation. Because it's a metaphor. The money is for you so that you can just do little things.
Right.
Because if you got a little bit of money, right, you move differently in life. You don't chase the first thing that you see. You have a little money, you move a little differently. Your money, when you have it, the quality of pussy gets better.
Right.
This is a fact.
See, I have my own theory that I came up with recently.
Okay.
I feel that if you're over 18 and you still live with your parents, you should not be allowed to buy designer items. If you walk into a Louis store at 23 years old, they have to ask where you live. And if you still live with your parents, they can't sell you anything.
I respect
They'll tell you to
that.
come back when you have a studio apartment.
I respect that. Tell you,
You have no business buying a Gucci belt if you live in your mom's house.
I agree with you.
Okay? That money that you spend on that Gucci belt should go to a savings account, which is designed for you to get your own apartment. Because once you have your own apartment, you pay your own bills, you probably aren't going to have the money for that stupid Gucci belt. You have actual adult responsibilities. But if you're living with your mom, you can buy all the damn Gucci belts you want because you're not paying rent, you're not paying food, you're working fucking Postmates, and you're spending all your money on Gucci belts. Yep. It's fucking stupid.
It's stupid.
I've never understood it. I never did it when I was broke.
You're lying to the woman that
you're lying to the woman. You're lying to the woman.
You're showing her, you make her seem like you're something else.
Yeah.
And you're not that person.
You're not. When I was broke, when I moved to New York in 2002, I remember one of the last items
That ain't
I
too
had.
long ago. You did pretty good for yourself.
Thank you. 20 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dead broke, living. I mean, I wasn't homeless, but I was sleeping on couches.
Right.
I couldn't afford my own apartment. I was sleeping on a man's couch who was a promoter. He was giving me DJ gigs. And at one point, he told me to get the hell out.
Right.
And I had to go find my own place. But what I'm saying is I remember one of the few items I had from my previous life, which was I was making money and I lost it all, was a Rolex watch.
Okay.
Just a regular Datejust, stainless steel, no gold, nothing. And I remember during that for years, I never wore that Rolex watch. Because what the fuck am I doing with a Rolex watch when I'm living in a studio apartment and I'm broke? That. What the fuck am I doing trying to brag to the world that I'm actually financially stable when I'm not?
Yes.
I didn't have designer items until 12 years ago.
And I'm glad you brought that up because the mindset is so wrong out here in the world.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm going to tell the world something. I want everybody to listen very carefully. In your 20s and 30s, they think what you're saying, Vlad. 20s, 30s, 40s, even up maybe sometimes to your 50s. When you make it, and if you make it to your 60s, you realize no one gave a fuck.
Right.
So my point is, it don't matter, people.
Yeah.
Just live your life, do good.
Yeah.
No one cares what you really got on because it's not what you got on, it's your character.
Well, and I'm going to tell you that $100,000 in your bank account will always overshadow any piece of designer clothing or jewelry or car.
Because you respect your money.
Well, because you have a base.
You have a base.
You know that if anything goes wrong, you have this money put aside that will buffer you
And
against a
that means
catastrophe.
Everything. I said something like that not too long ago. It's about my money is for war.
Yeah.
And war to me is crisis. If those comes up, I'm able to fight.
Yes.
I'm able to push away or handle the crises that come in my life, or if my kids or family members or friends need something. And to the people who've been hit me in my Cash App asking $20,000 and $30,000 like I'm their friend, stop it. I ain't got that kind of money. I'm broke.
Let me tell you something. I never said anything because it's not my style.
Yes.
But when the pandemic hit, there was people like regular guests of mine who I helped out.
Nice of you.
I never mentioned it.
Right.
But Lunel recently did a post. She said, people that helped me out during the quarantine: Cat Williams, Jamie Foxx, Nick Cannon, Russell Peters, George Wallace, Artie Fuqua, and Vlad.
Awesome. Awesome.
You know, when that hit and her income was affected and she's a little bit older, I went out of my way to take care of her.
That's nice of you.
Never said nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Never bragged about it. Never. It wasn't an Instagram post. It was nothing. Only reason I mention it is because she put it out there.
Right.
And she's right.
Right.
I was one of the people that helped her out.
That's awesome.
This is why me and Lunel have always been cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from both of us from the Bay Area.
Right.
You know,
He's
we
from the
got
Bay?
that. Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right.
I'll be there Thursday in the Bay Area.
That's right. Grew up in San Mateo, went to school in Berkeley, lived in Oakland.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yo. I lived in Santa Rosa.
Okay. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah.
That's kind of the country.
Yeah, out of the country. Yeah,
Yep.
up there with the grapes and the wine.
Yeah, exactly. Near Napa.
Right.
Yeah. No, exactly. Okay, where are we right now?
Wow, that's awesome, Vlad.
Yeah. Special Ed did an interview on Drink Champs.
Okay, I didn't watch it, but I saw it. He was on there.
He said that NWA brought destruction to hip-hop. A lot of West Coast dudes got upset.
Yes.
Exhibit, the Dog Pound. I mean, even the Bun B's and the Killer Mikes were like, no, that's not true. Systematic racism, drugs being brought in our community, blah, blah. They were all there before NWA.
Right, that's right.
But I think he kind of has a point.
Here's
now, you toured around with NWA.
I sure did.
You know, you're intimately close.
Very close.
Would you say that there is any truth in what he says?
What I saw what NWA did, they changed the game of hip-hop and the mindset of the world.
Right.
Right? Whether it's good or bad. And let me explain to you what I mean. they spoke up when it was a time when people would never talk about the things they were talking about.
Police brutality.
Police brutality.
Fuck the police was
life,
epic.
Yeah. Life, all that kind of stuff. And they did it in such a way that was so phenomenal that if it was for NWA, there would be no Jay-Z, there would be no DMX, there would be no 50 Cent.
I agree.
Because nobody's talking about KRS-One following that style, even though that was phenomenal in Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Gangster rap is the most top of the line of rap in the world to this day.
I agree.
Gangster rap.
Yeah,
period.
I agree.
So I think it's had an effect. It was a gift and a curse. I saw people, when we was on tour, I remember this, 1988, and we went to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
And I know about Bloods, I know about Crips. And we got to Omaha, Nebraska, and I saw Crips in Omaha. And I said to myself, what the fuck they know about that life?
Some LA shit.
LA shit.
Yeah.
And I did see that. So I'm not gonna say NWA destroyed society that way. I think it influenced some people, but it's just like alcohol, right? If you drink alcohol, you have to be responsible when you leave the establishment.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with music. If the music is making you feel a certain way, once you listen to it, you have to be man or woman enough that when you finish listening, you don't go out and kill nobody or rob. You got to be responsible and mature to understand that's just entertainment. And you go in your way. Because I rolled with Ice Cube and them. I saw Ice Cube with a Suzuki Jeep. I seen Dr. Dre when he had a I-90 or something, Mercedes-Benz Tudor or Burgundy. I seen it. I seen where they came from. They wasn't, what I'm saying is they wasn't gang banging.
No, they weren't. They weren't. And what's interesting is, for example, we have an interview with DOC.
Yes.
My man Justin Hunt did the interview.
Okay.
Right? And he asked a very interesting question, which DOC had a great answer for. He said, what was the difference between the making of Straight Outta Compton versus The Chronic? Right? He broke it down like this. He said, when we're working on Straight Outta Compton, there were some guys that were doing some things here and there in the street, but everyone there was an aspiring musician. They really wanted to be there. They really was trying to develop their craft. They really were into the music. They really were into the art, and they were trying to be part of the music industry.
Right.
Now you fast forward to Death Row Records, and there was guys there in the studio that were either coming out of jail or going to jail.
Yes.
That had absolutely no interest in rapping, producing, managing. They were just there to just basically fuck with people.
Right. Yep. It's true.
And Suge liked having them around to create an air of
intimidation.
Treachery. You know what I'm saying? In case anyone got out of hand. He said that was the difference. He said you would go there and you just don't know what's going to happen that day.
It's
he
scary.
said it was very nervous, scary environment.
Right.
There's no difference between the sessions in NWA days and the Chronic days when it comes to the music being made. The only difference is that the element that's surrounding us while we're making music changed. It intensified on that, what you want to call gangster level, where it started being just a whole bunch of street corner kind of people that were really about that life instead of being about the music life, hanging out, you know. With NWA, it was still street guys hanging out. Some guys were street corner guys, but most of us were just musicians, and most of those people were just happy to be around great music. So by the time it got to Death Row, the only difference was these are guys that were either on their way to the penitentiary or just coming home from the penitentiary, and this was like the amusement park for them, you know. For the rest of us, or at least for me, it was hell, you know, going in there and dealing with these folks on a day-to-day basis, because I never knew which day could be my day. that some terrible shit happens to you, and you know. But like I said, Suge was overly protective, and folks knew, don't mess with that one. You know, leave that one alone. You know, and so I always felt grateful to Suge for that, being able to exist in that space and not be, you know, so worried that something was going to happen.
Wasn't like that with NWA because they weren't really. I'm not trying to downplay them, but they weren't street guys like
they were
that.
just
They
young
weren't
kids.
like career criminals that just happen to do music.
When you see the studio in Torrance, I was there with them.
You were there.
I hung out.
I mean, is that a fair assessment? Now you weren't there for Death Row, but you were there for.
I was there with Death Row too. And
okay.
But from everybody I hung out with, I always was my own man.
Yeah.
And what that meant is I call you, I talk to you, but I didn't hang with you.
Yeah.
Because I already knew what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And I actually saw the change. So when Eazy and Dr. Dre left, I was in conflict because Eazy-E gave me my first job.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre was my friend. The DOC, me and him was roommates on tour with Straight Outta Compton. Like we was roommates.
Yeah.
So him having Suge as his bodyguard, Suge was my bodyguard too. He protected both of us. Yeah. When Dr. Dre's son passed away, we all was outside. I wish they'd had me in the video.
His brother passed away.
Yeah, when his brother died.
Passed away, yeah.
All there. Me and Dr. J used to go running. I used to take him jogging with me in the morning when we was on tour with NWA. So yes, when they were starting, they was hungry, and they made such an impact that I witnessed it. And I tell the story all the time. I talk about how I met them. I was on tour with. I was really an open act with New Edition, and Bobby Brown had just left New Edition. Me and Bobby Brown toured a lot as well.
Yeah, I just interviewed Johnny Gill.
Yeah, sure. Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
and this is where Johnny Gill came on board.
Yeah, after Bobby got kicked out of the group. Yeah,
and we was at the Forum, and in the mission, the DJ put in a cassette of "We Want Easy," and I don't know nobody, so I'm hearing this. I saw these kids lose their mind, and instantly I wanted to know who they were. And Bobby was next to me. And I said, who's that? And Bobby was like, yo, there they go right there. He pointed. And I walked up to Easy. And I said, yo, I'm T to the motherfucker K. He said, I'm Easy motherfucker E. And we hit it off from that day. And him, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube came to see me perform at the Comedy Store. Suge was there. AJ Johnson, before he was a comedian, he used to sit in the back with the trench coat, looking like Easy, with the Jerry curls on, and Easy.
Only to play Easy later on.
Yeah, sure did.
For Death Row and Easy. Yeah,
and Easy and them loved me, and we all left there. I felt like a god after that performance, because after Easy them saw me, now not knowing what NWA is, not knowing what's historic moment is about to happen. It's just that when I walked out that day with them, I knew something special had just happened. And what I could say to any comic in the world, no comic has ever toured as many rap tours that I've toured and done well in a rap audience. From the Rough Riders to the Cash Money Millionaires, to NWA, to Luke. Like to host them shows and have the people rocking, insane. So I got that lane all to myself.
Tory Lanez, since our last interview, he got 10 years.
Yeah, that hurt me.
Now, we broke an interesting part of this story.
Yes, we did.
He was offered a 4-year plea deal,
I saw that too.
which he turned down.
Yeah. I talked about this on stage the other day too. I'm blaming it on his attorneys.
I don't.
Go ahead. Why?
No, go. Well, you tell me your version. I'll tell you mine.
Because when I used to get in trouble, and you got great attorneys, it's the difference between an okay attorney and an experienced attorney who's going to tell you the truth.
Tory got great attorneys.
He did.
Because he could pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't mean they're great though.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Don't mean they're great.
Yeah.
And my attorneys used to always say in a certain situation, this is the best fucking deal.
Yeah, take it.
Like, you got to listen to me, TK.
Yeah.
just the best. Listen to my managers, business people. We'll walk to the side.
Yeah.
And we'll talk.
Get 4 years, get out in 2.
You get out in
state in a state case, you can do 50% in California.
Yes.
Get out in 2.
Yes,
you'll get deported, but
you'll still be a celebrity.
Blowing trial is going to be a whole different situation.
Still be a star.
Yes.
You'll still be a star.
Yeah.
Can tour. You can't come to America.
Europe, Canada, it's
and
fine.
You'll make just as much money.
Exactly.
You'll make probably more.
Probably.
That hurt me, Vlad.
Yeah.
Because these young men, they come out to get the money, they want to hang with the women.
Mm-hmm.
Me and you've been talking about this, I think I've been on your show 10, 11 years now.
I've said for years that Tory's going to jail.
You have said that.
I've said it. And Tory DM me all upset. Oh, what do you know? I said, motherfucker, I know the reality of the situation. Yes. You shot her. She's going to take the stand against you. Yes. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a fucking mess.
I'd have took the deal.
Or you a cop. Whatever, Tory.
I'd have took the deal.
I don't know Tory. We've never met. I don't give a shit. But at the end of the day, you got a 4-year plea deal and you churn it down. And when you say that it was the lawyer's fault, I disagree.
I mean, you got to make the final decision.
It is your decision.
Yes, your decision.
Let me tell you, this lawyer who explained it to me said, if Tory was my client, I could have, and he knows the judge. This is an LA lawyer.
Yes.
Right? He knows the judge. He said, it was a black male judge. He said, this is actually the most reasonable judge in the court system.
Wow.
He said, I've had cases with this judge that were crazy and my client has gotten a year probation, this, that. Like, he's actually very fair. But when you have an out of control client like Tory.
Wait, what happened?
4-year plea deal. Fuck that deal. You got to understand, because he was like this. He said, look.
So when you say out of control, he wasn't disrespectful.
Not a disrespect.
Okay.
Let me explain it to you. He said, look, if this was my client, if Tory Lanez was my client, when this arrest happened, Megan wasn't cooperating. She was trying to say that, I stepped on some glass. I didn't want to see a black man go to jail, whatever else. Okay, Megan's not cooperating. Let's go to the judge. Let's go to the DA, blah, blah. Let's make a deal. 1 year, 5 years probation. Sign off on it. Do your time. Do 6 months. You're done. You're done. What does Tory do? Drops a damn album dissing Megan.
Wait.
Oh, you didn't know about this?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know about this. He dropped a goddamn album about Megan, talking about, how you got shot and no tendons or bones got hit. He's sitting there, there's lyrics mocking her shooting, saying you lying about the shooting. So what do you get? Now
he could have left it alone.
He could have left it alone. So instead, she goes, okay. Well, now I'm taking the stand. Now I'm gonna take the stand. I'm gonna wear purple, which is the color of domestic abuse. I'm gonna cry on the stand. And when it gets time to the sentencing, Megan wrote a letter to the judge saying that leniency is for people who take responsibility. Tory has taken no responsibility. He has slandered me. He has lied to anybody who would listen. You should give him the maximum sentence. And he didn't get the maximum sentence, but he got a decade.
What was the max?
I think he was facing up to 15 years. Yeah. And now people say, Tory's going to general population. Nope, he's not going to general population. He's actually getting moved to a supermax in California.
Now, why the supermax?
Not sure. This is a weird one. I'm just not quite sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
For him to take him up to the supermax.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's a protective custody kind of thing. He's 5'3". He's a little guy.
Here's the thing that people need to understand. Like you said, I went to Scare Straight when I was in the 70s before it hit TV.
Oh, yeah.
I
saw that shit on TV. That shit.
See, y'all saw it when it was cut down. I went in the 70s.
The real shit.
At Rawway State Prison.
Yeah.
And I saw guys bigger than me and booty shorts. The things wrapped around the head like a woman. A woman in prison. And when I see these young kids the shootings, the fights, when people go to jail. I say, hey, ain't no guns in jail.
Let me tell you, I remember when me and Adam 22 were talking about this situation. He said, listen, I don't think anyone deserves jail, but Tory was a bit of a special case. And he said that he had an interview with Tory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tory came in with his security. During the interview, a bunch of gang members showed up to the parking lot and were kind of like around the car, and I guess they knew he was there or something. And it started to kind of turn into somewhat of a situation. Tory's security said, I don't have a gun. Turns to Adam's security. Can I borrow your gun? I'm going to go out there and defuse the situation. What does Tory do? No, I want to hold the gun. No. Give me the gun. I'm going to go out with you and I'm going to carry the gun. And an argument ensued over Tory wanting to hold the gun to go confront these guys.
I remember even one time at the store, my old store, this is maybe 2018, whenever I interviewed Tory Lanez, that we got done doing the interview, and he has a big-ass security guard with him, and the security guard didn't have a gun. But there was like a bunch of gang members who basically pulled up to the store and had sort of surrounded his Sprinter that he had arrived in, and it was like parked in the back of the store, and they're sort of milling around out there and stuff. And Tory wanted to leave and get in the car, but it's pretty obvious that they're going to have to deal with this whole situation before that happens. Now, one of my homies had a gun, and the security guard asked if he could take the gun. This is all a terrible idea, but he asked if he could take the gun to go out and speak to these guys, right? And try to figure out what the issue was. And Tory starts jumping up and down, being like, "Nah, I want to hold it. I want to be the one with the gun." So you got this motherfucker. He's like 7 foot tall, big, crazy face tattoos and shit. He's a real gang member from LA who had just gotten out of prison or whatever. And Tory wanted to be the one holding the strap when they go out to have this conversation with these guys. And I believe the security guard, as well as his team, kind of did not allow this to happen. They didn't let him go out there with the gun or whatever. But that just really stood out to me as like, oh, you're famous and you're rich, and you still, even though you have a security guard with you, you're not willing to, like, you want to be the badass in this situation. You want to be the hothead.
I have armed security. I would be damned if I ever asked one of them to carry the gun on their behalf. I wouldn't even think about something so stupid. I wouldn't even think. I pay this man to carry a gun and shoot somebody if necessary. And that's his job.
What is wrong with people, man?
He's got a gun tattoo on his fucking stomach and all this other type of shit. He threatened this, they're saying there's this rapper named Dax who I guess like dissed him. He confronted him and apparently pulled out a gun on him. Like he has a long history of playing with guns, thinking that it's sweet. 5'3", a little guy, that gun will equalize that whole situation. Chip on his shoulder, little man's disease, however you want to say it. It's just dumb. Just fucking dumb. Seriously, man, I can imagine my security laughing at me.
I'm going to tell you a story about a gun.
The fuck I got security for that?
Let me tell you about a story about a gun and how you got to make good choices.
Yeah.
I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and I rented a car from Avis.
Yeah.
And I'm driving the car for a couple of days.
Okay.
Pull up to my show, and I'm parking outside, and I open the armrest.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 9mm Glock in the car.
It's a rental car, though.
It's a rental car.
Okay.
Pick it up. I take pictures of it, send it to mom. I said, yo, keep this motherfucker.
Oh, I wouldn't touch it.
Now watch what's going on.
Okay.
I'm watching Snowfall, so Franklin Saint is in my system during this week for some reason.
This is recently?
Yeah, this is recent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this happened early this year.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, I got to get this motherfucker back home. And my friend was like, T, I don't think you should. Whatever you do, don't send that motherfucker on the plane or the mail. So I'm thinking. So I left the gun in the glove compartment. Couple more days. Now I got to go to Columbus, Ohio to fly out to catch a flight.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm proud of myself, because me and you always talk about choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, what are the consequences of this gun?
Yeah.
If I get it, I'm going to shoot somebody and somebody's going to die. I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. The cops pull me over and they find this gun.
Who knows how many bodies it has on
And I
it.
said, this gun was in, I don't know who gun that is. They are not fucking going to believe me.
Of course not.
Not at all.
Especially with your fingerprints on it.
Especially with my fingerprints on it. So I got up early, at 3 o'clock in the morning before I went to Columbus, Ohio. There was a lake by me.
Threw it in the lake.
I went down on the side of the road. I took the clip out. I threw it one side, and I threw the gun in the water. I throw it, the motherfucking gun land right on the sand. Don't get to the water. So me being conscious of if somebody gets this, go in the wrong hand. Now I gotta go down this embankment on the fucking highway. At 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Don't know what's down here if I'm gonna make it back up.
Right.
But now I feel responsible because I threw this damn gun and it didn't make the water. I walked down there and threw the gun in the water. I came back, got in my car and left. And it was one of the greatest feelings of my life because I knew, and to this day, I know I made a great decision on doing the right thing. And that's what I want to share with people about choices. It may not seem right at that moment, but as you, that first day, that week, that month, maybe years down the line, and you ever remember, it could have went either way.
Yeah.
You feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Because the reason I bring it up, because when I was young, I would do things first. Mm-hmm. And cry like a bitch afterwards because of the consequences.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want people to understand when me and you talk. Me and you've always projected positivity and let men and women know there's a different way to think. Because they listen. Like I said, we talk about this all the time. When I'm in different parts of the country, they bring up like, yo, I love how you and Vlad be giving us game.
Yeah.
And I love that, right? I love that. And I just really want men and women to really win because it's a beautiful life out here.
Well, listen, I remember Tony Yayo said it so well. He said, it's a gun. It's not a toy. You don't put a dress on it.
That's right.
It's a gun.
It's a gun.
It's got a specific reason.
Yes.
And it's to be used for only that reason alone.
Yes.
It's not used as an accessory. It's not part of your fashion. You don't dress it up. You don't pull it out. You don't wave it around. It's not a toy. It's a gun.
The sad part about it is just playing with the gun. When you're from the streets, you don't play with guns. Like you don't, you know what I'm saying? A gun is nothing to play with. It's not a toy.
I've walked into studios and there'd be a gun on the table. I have never touched those guns. I don't want my fingerprints on that shit. I don't know what the fuck you got going on. I'll touch my guns. I got guns all through my house. I don't bring them down and let people touch them. I interviewed that one basketball player who's, showing off his gun and ended up killing his damn driver. Jason Williams. He's crying in the interview.
Yeah.
Whole life changed because of that shit.
Sure did.
It was an accident. But he got a whole bunch of people in his house showing off a damn gun.
Yep.
The fuck you showing the shit off
Exactly.
for? I don't show off my guns at the house.
2 people that's great in my life. My son, who has a license to carry, who actually took classes.
Yeah.
Did it the right way.
Right.
And he explained to me, Dad, they teach you all these rules. They explain to you how you use the gun. And I think that when you go to school and you learn and you get licensed and you really understand those rules, you move differently when you're a licensed to carry person.
Right.
Because you have knowledge behind what this thing can do instead of learning the hard way.
Exactly.
Second person, a guy named Mikey-O. He's from Philly, lives in Tampa. We were in Philly a couple years ago. We got the rides. We doing our thing. We come from an event. Cops pull him over. He got a nice car. He's speeding. I think he ran the light. The cops pull him over. I see the gun come out. He's handing the gun to the cop. And she takes the gun. And next thing I know, I see some paperwork. But I'm telling the crew, we got to go get him out of jail. Fuck, here we go. Oh, man. And 10, 15 minutes later.
It's all good.
She's giving the motherfucking gun back. Now, to me, I've never seen this in my life.
He's got paperwork.
And to the gentlemen out here, women too, Do the right thing.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a gun and you're gonna carry it around, get a carry permit.
Get a carry permit.
You know, and I think the best example of this.
Shout out to Mike Hill. Shout out to my son, Ayers, too.
The best example of this is the Montgomery Brawl. Right? Montgomery, Alabama. I'm sure 3/4 of the people there had guns on them.
Yes.
Motherfuckers was hitting each other with chairs,
Mm-hmm.
throwing each other in the water and beating up women and whatever else.
Right.
Not a single person pulled out a gun.
That's so true.
And you know what happened? Everyone's bruises healed up. A couple people maybe did a couple days, a week or so in jail, a couple of misdemeanors. Everyone's healed up and went on with their lives.
So true.
Nobody got shot. Nobody got
shot.
killed.
That's right.
You know, you had the first black man who swam to a fight.
Yeah, so true.
You know what I'm saying? Right. He made history right there.
Right.
And people went on with their lives. But I bet you go into a place where a whole bunch of people had illegal guns, who aren't trained, who aren't licensed. The gun came from the crackhead down the street. Motherfuckers would have been firing off, shooting. It would have turned into a bloodbath. Some people would have died.
Yes.
People are going to be in prison forever. Whatever else. People controlled themselves and they went on with their lives.
Right. Yeah, it's so true.
I love it. I love it.
It was,
you know,
it was a decent fight.
It was a decent fight.
No one died.
No one died.
Because one thing you know, and they know too, once that trigger's pulled, man.
Yeah, it's all over. My man Taxstone, you know what I'm saying, that's my friend. But he shouldn't have brought that gun to the club.
Should have brought that gun to the club.
Shouldn't have brought that club.
Right.
He might have taken an ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
Or he might have whooped some ass.
Right.
But he would be out making money like Gillian Wallow. He would have been one of the top podcasters.
He was on his way.
Me and him would still be rocking together. Yes. I'd be going on his podcast. He'd be going on mine.
Me and him was going to London.
Yeah, no,
Remember
that's he was becoming a big deal. He had just interviewed Meek.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? He was like one of the hot dudes, and he was someone who I fucked with.
Yes.
It broke my heart. I did his interview 4 days before he got arrested.
Wow.
None of us knew. None of us knew what was about to happen a few days from now. I held on to that interview for 6 years. I just put it out. Because I didn't want to have something in that interview potentially be affected in his trial.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect
He wanted to do an interview during his trial. His lawyer said, this is a horrible idea. I told him it was a horrible idea, Tax. He was a little mad at me at the time, but he understood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, your lawyer's telling me not to do it.
Right.
I'm not going to go against your lawyer's wishes. Go interview someone else if you want. I'm not going to be the one responsible.
I loved him, man.
Yeah, that's my man.
We was going to London. I was talking to his people. He was going to do the podcast, me and him, and then I was going to perform.
Yeah.
And it was huge. And when that happened, that shit, like, damn.
I had Michael Blackson on recently.
Okay.
And I asked him, I said, do you make more money? Have you made more money acting or doing stand-up? He goes, way more money doing stand-up.
Absolutely.
So I said, what's the most you ever made? He said, well, in a weekend, I made $150,000.
Yeah, you could do that.
Fortunately for me, I made my money doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Acting's not, nothing has given me a bigger paycheck than stand-up.
Right.
Nothing at all. No movie, no TV show has ever given me a paycheck bigger than I've got from stand-up comedy.
What was your biggest check for doing stand-up? One show.
It'll be more like a weekend or like it'll be like a weekend. I mean, most of my stuff is a weekend.
Okay, so your biggest weekend check?
$150,000.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about. 150 for
154
for a series of shows, basically.
Series of shows over a weekend.
Okay, that's what's up.
Ain't no movie. Nobody ever give me that kind of, no one day's work. At least not no one weekend's work. I mean, I've done, did a whole movie. Even with that, I'm not even sure what it paid me. But like to go and work a weekend, that was probably my biggest check.
Have you done that?
I've done probably close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My salary, I'm on air.
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've been on air the whole time, but we'll cut out.
Okay, yeah. No, I ain't gonna tell my motherfucking salary. Because, nah. Let me tell you how I move.
Yeah.
If they do what I made, they'll be blown away.
Yeah.
Consistently, if they knew. And
you deserve it.
I deserve it, sir.
Yeah.
See, what most comics don't get is 90% of the door.
Mm.
I get 90%. It can't be no other way for me.
There you go.
And the reason why I don't let people manage me, because people don't know how to talk the way I know how to talk to get the money. Because it's not like I'm this strong individual trying to finesse someone. I explain to people, and I think here's what I'm about to say, Vlad. I think everybody should get 90% of the door. And let me tell you why. Because if a person know they can get a bag, and you really about that bread, you will bust your ass for weeks to make sure you walk out of that motherfucker with that money. Mm-hmm. You'll stay up 10, 15 hours a day promoting yourself to make sure you had them asses in the seats to get that check.
Yeah.
But what do most people do? Everybody want to be fucking lazy. Don't nobody want to work hard.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to put the work in. I'm fucking 63. Still acting like I'm 21. Still acting like nobody knows who the fuck I am. But because I like money.
Yeah. Me too.
And you got to put the work in. It ain't going to drop out the fucking sky. It ain't going to, everybody can't win the lottery. It ain't happening. And you taught me this. Most men and women become millionaires in their 60s. All that other shit y'all thinking, throw it out the window. You got to put the work in.
Oh yeah, man. Listen, I did a feature on Boosie's estate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw it. It's
Yes.
an 88-acre estate.
Beautiful.
And, it's got like 7 houses on it, a big mansion. He's got 2 basketball courts and anything else like that. So I'm looking through the comments, right? And I'm looking through the comments. And this one dude, obviously a young man, he goes, man, I'm going to do it just like Boosie. I'm 19 right now. I'm going to get all this by 25. And I said, young man, you should plan for 35 or maybe 45. Because you're probably not going to get it at 25. And that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
Yes, it's okay.
Unless you're a superstar rapper, a superstar athlete, you invent something monumental or whatever else. At 25, you're still trying to figure out your career.
So true.
Don't try to get it by 25 because you're going to do things that's going to endanger your freedom to try to get it by 25. Have a more realistic timeline. You could probably do it by 35 or 45, maybe even 55, maybe even 65.
Maybe even 70.
It doesn't matter. It's okay. But don't try to think that in 6 years you're going to achieve what Boosie has done.
20,
in 20 years,
yes.
with a lot of talent,
yes.
with a lot of hustle, with a lot of adversity and some luck.
Yep.
Thrown in.
Yep, you got to. Yeah.
25 is not a realistic age.
It's not realistic.
Stop looking at these young rappers who are with all the diamonds. Like, that's an anomaly.
Yes.
And the people that try to get it that quick are cutting corners.
And not just that.
Doing, selling drugs, not paying their taxes, scamming.
Yes.
That's how you get it by 25, and you will lose it all by 27.
And you go to prison.
And you'll get out at 45 and have to start all over from nothing.
I did an interview about what you said. A young man interviewed his cousin. He committed suicide. Had a business, doing well, but because of social media, doing well.
Uh-huh.
Not no bum. He's doing well. And he still committed suicide because he felt he wasn't living up to the family's name.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my point that I'm making is social media, the way people move, some of these kids are hypnotized and they want it bad enough. They don't have realistic goals.
Yeah.
No structure. They don't respect money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that again. They don't respect money. And like you said, you cut corners, you lie on applications, you steal, you hustle, and you might look good for 6 months, a year.
Yeah, I mean, you had a tweet. You said, I don't know why some of you guys walk around with thousands of dollars in your bag. Grow up. Who raised you?
Yeah.
Get you a credit card. Use it and pay off that card and make payments 2 times a month or more. It'll increase your credit score.
Man, don't it?
Look at someone who you knew, XXXTentacion.
Yes.
He had to go to this bank and take out thousands of dollars in cash and put it in a Louis duffel bag because it felt good to have all that money in his hand.
That's so
only
sad.
to have a bunch of idiots
Yes.
notice that and kill him for it.
Yep.
You think they would have killed him for his American Express card?
Not at all.
Think they would have killed him for his visa?
Not at all.
He's got the money.
He got the money.
He's got the income.
Yep.
He probably had the credit. If not, it didn't matter because he had so much money coming in. He didn't need that cash with him.
Didn't need that cash with him
at all.
That's a young man's mistake.
They roll up on him, pull the guns. Hey, here's my wallet. It was only $100. What do you want me to do?
That's right.
That's all I got. Take it.
I didn't even look at it that way, Vlad.
There's no resisting arrest if you take my credit cards. Have it. As soon as you go, I'll cancel them
I
all.
love that. Like it's what you said is so simple, and it's right there in your face.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry no fucking no $100 max.
Let me tell you something. Right now, I used to carry a wallet everywhere, right? And then I got that new iPhone that had a little battery on the back,
right?
And it's got the little case, the little battery thing, and the only thing that fits in there was credit cards,
right?
Right? I can fit 3 credit cards in there and a little tracker on there in case I lose it,
right?
And I'm like, okay, so let's just see how this works. I'm just going to stop carrying around cash. I'm going to have this little wallet so I don't have to carry around a wallet. One less thing in my pocket.
Yes.
I never look back. I don't have a wallet anymore. I don't carry cash with me.
That's right. I don't carry cash either.
If I need some cash, I got my ATM card. I'll go and get a 1,000.
Right. Or do a Apple Pay.
Apple Pay. Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Scan it. You're done. I don't carry any cash with me. You want to rob me?
I'm going to put
you
that
get
in
nothing.
I'm going to talk about that in my stand-up.
You'll take whatever you got on me. You can take it, but you're not going to find 100,000 cash on me.
That's
Why?
right.
Why? So I can throw it in my tub like Scrooge McDuck and.
Or you can kill me over it.
Yeah.
Damn, Vlad. I'm looking at you because it's like figuring out a math problem.
You take that bag of money out of X's hand that one day, and he'd be making music right now.
Absolutely.
They would have nothing to rob from him.
That's so true.
They wouldn't even approach him. It's that bag. And they seen him in the store, and he opens it up. Oh, my God, this motherfucker got a bag full of money, and he's a multi-platinum rapper. Yo, we gonna go get it.
And you know what? Isn't it a good feeling when you pull out that heavy platinum American Express?
Yeah, the metal one.
The metal one.
Clink.
Oh, listen to me.
Yeah.
To everybody who's listening.
And it's got perks. I remember I can go into lounges for free.
Go to lounges for free.
And I learned this a long time ago.
Because money can't do that.
Money can't do that.
Money can't get you in that lounge.
No.
It damn sure can't get you in that lounge.
No, I remember there was this dude named John Abbey, a.k.a. Johnny Hooks. He's a crook from, what do you call it, Atlantic City that stole some money from me. But the one thing that I did learn from him is because up to that point, I never had credit cards. I had ATM cards because I'm like, I'm not going to go into debt. Whatever I spend is going to be in my account. And I'm done.
Okay.
And he goes, well, Vlad, you know, if you get certain kinds of credit cards, every dollar you spend is a mile for the airlines. And then I learned, you get an American Express card and it'll be miles for all the airlines. And I just set it up to auto pay every month so I don't pay any interest.
Right.
Man, I had like 1 million miles stacked up at one point. I flew to Dubai business class for free.
That's right.
For free, just by using by spending my credit cards on normal business purchases. It's all legal.
All legal.
It's for free.
For free.
It's the miles.
Are you listening
You
to
know what I'm
him, ladies
saying?
and gentlemen?
The
Listen.
cash won't give you this.
Cash won't give you that.
Every dollar you spend is a dollar that goes away forever.
Ever.
You know, but you got to understand, like, there's no point in keeping this type of cash.
So true.
And the XXXTentacion is the best example of it.
That's the greatest. I've done a lot of interviews with you.
Yeah, I can tell it's affecting you right now.
Wow.
Yeah, because he made a song with you, I remember. Like
Yeah,
the
sure
thing.
did.
Yeah, exactly. He looked up to you.
Yeah, we was on our way, me and him. His management and them loved me so much, and they wanted me to mentor him.
Yeah.
And we never got around to it. God bless him.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Well,
but that I just want to say the credit card thing one more time before we move on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Credit cards.
it can change your life.
It could change your life. It could save your life.
It could save your life.
Yeah, there's no reason, man.
There's no reason to carry cash.
Yeah. Go get your credit fixed.
Go get your credit and get a credit card.
Credit card.
And fly to different places
For free. Yeah. In fact.
And hotels.
Yes. And most of the times when you get a certain credit card, just by signing up, they'll give you a free round trip ticket.
That's so true.
Coach.
Yep.
You know, like you could fly cross country coach for free once a year with that credit card.
With that credit card.
Plus all the points. You know, and there's programs. Oh, if you eat at this type of restaurant, they'll triple points. Oh, and if you use a credit card to buy airline tickets, it's like quadruple points. And next thing you know, you got hundreds of thousands of points.
That's how I travel.
That's how I travel.
Exactly.
Travel.
And y'all see me at the Ritz-Carltons and presidential suites.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and address this.
Mm-hmm.
Your last interview on VladTV wasn't actually with me.
No. It's with the beautiful lady.
Gloria Velez.
Gloria, yes.
So let's talk about this whole situation.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's do this.
Let's talk about Gloria.
Okay. So Gloria Velez, who I've known over the years. In fact, the first magazine appearance I ever had in the Source magazine in 2002, she was one of the models in this shoot. It was they had a bunch of DJs and everything else like that. So we go back technically 20 years. But,
Right.
We run into each other in Miami here and there. We say what's up. So my man Mafi, who does a lot of bookings for us, he always comes up with ideas and he goes, hey, listen, me and Gloria want to put together this podcast and have VladTV, host it and produce it. This sounds like an interesting idea.
Mm-hmm.
So we made an agreement. VladTV would produce episodes of her podcast.
Right.
The agreement was that we would handle all the production. We would pay for the cameras. We would pay for the studio. We'd pay for the editing.
Which is a nice studio.
Yeah, very nice studio.
Very nice studio.
Right? Multiple cameras because the podcast,
When I walked in there, I was impressed.
it costs some money, right? And she would book the guests herself, but she would have to approve the guests.
Okay.
Because it's based on, I'm the one that understands which guests will react and which ones won't.
Yeah, that's your feel.
You know what I mean? She wanted to bring in one of the housewives or whatever. No, that's not really my audience. You know what I'm saying? So she brought a lot of people to me. Some people I passed on, but some people I said no to. I said yes to Neo. I said yes to Cisco. And I said yes to you.
Yes.
Your interview was entertaining with her.
Yeah.
Watching you kind of spit game to her and everything else like that. The confidence was interesting to watch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, this interview didn't do that great with our audience. Our last interview that we did together got 3 million views.
Okay.
The interview you did with Gloria got 400,000.
Wow.
Big difference.
That's a big
about
difference.
Eight times.
Yes.
All of the interviews she did, so we lost money on that interview.
Okay.
The other 2 interviews we did, the Neo one went a little viral, but sometimes going viral doesn't mean that you're actually making money because that whole interview did about the same. So all 3 of those interviews we lost money on.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Right.
Because we're thinking long term.
Yes.
Now I've always told Gloria, listen, we're going to pay for the production of these and we'll own these podcasts that you do, but the Gloria Velez podcast is yours.
Right.
So if you ever want to go somewhere else, it's cool.
Respect.
We keep what we did. Go on, get another deal. Go
I
to
understand
Revolt,
that.
go to Amazon, go to Netflix. I don't care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if I ever tell you no on an interview, go shoot it yourself if you want. She didn't want to do that.
Right.
But I said you have full to do whatever. I'm just going to pay for the stuff that I think will work for our company. So after her 3rd interview, she went on the internet and said that she's no longer working with VladTV. She called me shady.
I saw that.
Because Mafi had suggested, he approached me and said, hey, what do you think of Math Hoffa as a guest? I said, I've already booked him. I'm on my way to New York. Me and Math Hoffa go back 10 years.
Right.
I'd actually already reached out to him and he already agreed and everything else like that. So I'm going to pass because I guess when he told her that, she's like, oh, he's going behind my back somehow. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Right? So she goes to the internet and makes a video.
I saw it.
Accusing me of bad business, saying that she did 3 interviews. They all did great. Not true. Not true. And she's going to go on. She's lots of people are calling her. She's going to do a podcast somewhere else. And where should she go? Everything else like that. I saw this video and I'm like, this is odd. I have Gloria's phone number. We've spoken on the phone. I call her. She doesn't answer. I text her. I said, I saw what you said, but it's not true. Let me send you the actual text messages of me and Matt Hoffa, me and Matt. Like I'm laying this all out.
Right. And you didn't have to do that.
I didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
She doesn't answer. So at that point, we're done.
I agree.
And you have not seen a single podcast come out lately.
Not at all.
From her since.
The thing about, to the fans that's listening, I'm going to explain something to you. And Gloria, too. This is why it's called show business. It's 99% business, 1% show.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a manager, you better be damn good at decision making. Because when you put emotion ahead of your money, you can make a bad decision.
Yes.
When you see her interview, if you don't know you, you're like, oh man, I can't believe Vlad, But I know you.
Yeah.
And I know your character as a man.
Of course.
And I said, wow, and I called you.
Yeah.
About it. I said, yeah, what's up? And I told Gloria and the fans what I told you. I said, she could have called you.
Yes. She had my number.
Had your number. That's all I wanted.
We still haven't talked.
Regardless of if that's how you felt.
Yeah.
Right? And to anybody, if you feel bad about anything, if you got the person's number, I want people to be man or woman enough to call the person to address things like a man or woman. This passive aggressive, this hiding behind cameras or getting people you want to control the narrative, to get people to think you're right.
Yeah, gang up on the person you don't like.
It's just wrong.
Yeah, it's just silly.
There's just things in life that I'm just not going to allow people to get away with. Not just this, all life. Because people will go to social media first and claim X, Y, and Z. And because you're the bigger person, I'm the bigger man, I have to stay quiet and just let people think whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
And I like for men to be men. If you're a man, you call the person direct. You're a woman, you call the person direct. And I like Gloria. I was flirting with her. I think she was cool. And I wish her the best.
I wish her the best, too.
I just wish also she'd have called you. You'll talk things out. And I guarantee you it wouldn't have went the way that it went.
Right.
And she'll probably still be working today, because if I was a manager, what I would have said to her, and this is how I love doing business, baby, this is not your lane yet. You haven't built your name up to be like a Vlad yet.
Yeah, you've done 3 episodes.
Yeah, you did 3 episodes.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
You know, I mean, I understand that Young Miami won Podcast of the Year and only did 4.
We know what that's about.
You know what that's about. That's Puffy pulling some strings. In the real world, it doesn't really work that way.
You gotta, what we say earlier in this episode, this interview, you gotta put the work in.
Gotta put the work in. And here's the thing. I want everyone to understand this. This is very important. To all the girls out there who are making their income through OnlyFans. This is different than actual real business.
Absolutely.
And it will cloud your head to think that all money is going to come this quickly.
Yes.
You know?
It's true.
When you make that OnlyFans money, you think that that's how the world works.
Yes.
But it doesn't work that way. In a real business, it takes time. It takes, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately, Gloria made more money on these podcasts than I did.
Right.
Because I took a loss every time.
Right.
She still got paid. In the same way that you don't work out, I didn't tell her, well, listen, baby, we lost money, so you're going to have to, no, you got
You
paid.
always solid.
I'll take the loss.
Yep.
It's okay, because
Yep.
I'm looking at it long term.
Long term.
She's talking about she can get Shaq in the future. Trina was going to be booked. Okay, cool. These other ones, people slowly start warming up to you, our audience, and I think that there's some potential here. So I'm willing.
That show was definitely a hit.
It had
In the long
potential.
run.
It had potential.
It had potential.
It had potential. But when you make your money through OnlyFans, you don't understand the work ethic that's involved. And the problem when you talk about platforms like OnlyFans, every day there's a girl who's turning 18 that's slowly taking your spot. That's slowly taking away, and you're getting older, and that money will slowly start to get lower and lower and lower and lower and lower.
So true. That's right.
And a lot of times, because of that, you're going to be forced to do things that you weren't comfortable doing
Right.
5-10 years ago
True.
in order to just maintain where you are, because you're just getting older
Right.
and you're selling yourself.
Yes.
And like you say, there's a whole bunch of college girls right now graduating
in June.
Graduating in
Whole
June.
new team coming out here.
And if you have someone who is actually willing to invest in you and teach you the business, you don't shit on that person.
I agree.
Because when I saw that video, the first thing I thought was, we lost money anyways, who cares?
Right.
This has zero effect. In fact, there's a positive effect on the business, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting there trying to convince her to come back, trying to convince her that it's a mistake. Okay, no problem. We didn't make anything off of this.
Right.
Look at the numbers. Look at the views and think about the production costs, and you will see the reality of it. Now, you could think it did well, but just because a TikTok video got 10 million views doesn't mean that comes anywhere back to our company.
Not at all.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you have someone that could really help you to develop a business, and let me tell you something, a lot of times I would provide questions for her for the interviews, letting her know what will work. And she would go off in her own directions and talk about all the music videos she did with Cisco and stuff like that. Stuff that may be cool in a personal conversation, but it's not the way audiences react to.
True.
I'm still trying to teach her. People think that podcasting or doing interviews is easy. It's not. I've been doing it for 15 years.
Right.
I'm way better than I was 10 years ago.
Yes, you are.
You know what I'm saying? It's a skill
It's a skill.
that you have to keep working on.
But again,
So if someone is willing to invest in you and build a real business around you, you don't walk out your job in 3 days. And that's basically what happened.
that's another great example.
Yes.
That's another great. But it takes mature people to understand.
But she's
what
in her
you're saying.
40s, I believe.
I know, but
so, you know.
yeah, but it's true. Like you don't become president of a company in 3 days.
Right.
It just don't happen. You don't. When the NBA season starts, you don't win the championship the next weekend.
Right.
You got to go through these months,
whole season.
and a whole season to get a championship,
And usually multiple years.
Multiple
to
years.
build it and to figure out and
Right.
everything else like that. And listen, I sincerely, and you know, I feel bad for Mafi because you know what you don't know? I'm going to reveal this to you right now. You agreed to do the interview for free.
yes,
But you asked to be flown out and get a hotel.
yes, I did.
Mafi paid out of his own pocket.
Yes, that
to
I do know
that.
that. Yeah, he
I
told
didn't
me.
know that until afterwards.
Yeah, yep, he did.
So he lost money himself
Yes,
on that shoot.
and he really wanted me.
That
and I
was,
thought-
because he really wanted you there.
Yeah.
What I paid him was less than what your plane ticket and hotel cost.
Sure was.
But he was thinking long
He
term,
was thinking long term.
and she was not.
And Vlad, I could tell you this: the studio was beautiful.
Exactly. It was the Hit Factory, I think, right?
Man, it was, when
Yeah.
I pulled up,
Yeah.
I said,
We were
"Damn,
like, okay, listen, let's give it a shot.
this is nice."
Well,
I'm like,
let's
Vlad
give it
doing
a-
this thing.
let's
That's
give it a
exactly what I
shot.
said.
Let's give it a
I said-
shot.
and when I walked in, the stuff on the wall and everything, I was,
Yeah.
it was true Miami.
Yeah.
It was really nice, Vlad.
Yeah, man.
And only because when they explained things to me,
Uh-huh.
because I ain't call you.
No, you didn't?
They told me, I said, I'll do anything for Vlad. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
That's how I
likewise.
rocked it.
Yeah.
And I was there to support. Not that I got anything against them. My relationship was with you.
Me, yeah.
And
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
why I
and
made it
I would have
happen.
done the same for you.
Yeah.
I would have done the same for you.
That's
you know
why I
what I'm
made it
saying?
happen.
Like I go to your shows
Right.
and stuff like
Yep.
that. You know, I pay for my security and
Yep.
everything else like that because I know
Yeah,
that
you've been there. Have a good time.
Right there, yeah. It cost me money, but that's my
Yeah.
man. I'll support you.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But like, That's the whole thing. And so I don't want people to think that I somehow robbed this person, I was shady with this person, anything else like that. And at the end of the day, when you see partnerships break up and everyone claims that they were the ones who made it all popular, just wait and see what happens.
Here's the thing I tell the world, and I'll say it again here. In my lifetime, I made 2 mistakes on characters.
Okay.
I got to mention their name, but I made 2 mistakes. But when I truly know someone's character, I'm dead on point. And I could tell the world, your character as a man is 1,000. Even when I tour the world and somebody say something stupid, I go, either that's an immature person or they've been influenced on some BS that they heard, not knowing the true story of the character of the man. Solid guy. From the time you called me when I walked up the Breakfast Club, you have not changed. Got me on here. I think we're going on 10, 11 years now. I'm not sure.
It's been a minute.
And to see all the other comics now who come on, not saying that I had the influence, but I could tell you this, I'm glad I was first.
That's right.
That's all. I'm glad out of all the comics, I was first.
Yeah.
And I was at the right place at the right time.
And we've been rocking ever since. We've never had a disagreement. We've never had an altercation. You've never spoken about me negatively in public or private, and I never have either.
Never.
I never let people come on here and disparage you. You know what I'm saying? Because you know something, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, when you get older, because you have friends, you know, I mean, everyone has friends when they're younger and y'all play video games together and y'all go to the club or whatever else. But as you get older, at least when you're men, I don't know how women work, but when you're a man, you start to get older and you have these business associates. And y'all make money together, but you're also friends. But the friendship and the money is all kind of intermixed in its own type of way. And it's a different type of friendship.
Yes.
Because y'all fuck with each other, y'all respect each other, but y'all make money together on top of it.
Right.
Me and Boosie the same way.
Right.
And you have this loyalty to the person, and it's not just based on the money, because it's also based on the respect, but the money gives the friendship a different dimension.
Right.
Because you know that after y'all hang out and do your thing, everyone's pockets are a little bit fatter.
What's great about it is that you respect the character of the person.
Yes.
See, I like you, but I'm still gonna pay you. I'm not asking you to do something for me for free, right? Because we're friends.
Right.
Motherfucker, I like you.
Yeah.
And I always tell that to the world. My friends will call me and want me to do favors. And I check them. I said, yo, what you should be saying is, TK, I enjoy your talent so much.
I'm gonna pay you for it.
Let me put some money in your pocket.
Right.
Not, can you do me a favor?
Right.
And take a cut so you could take more money to your family.
Right.
That don't make fucking sense to me.
Right.
Love me so much that when you call me, it's like, well, I fuck with him and I like him. Let me put money in his pocket because I like him. Exactly. And that's how everybody should think when you call an artist, when you call the book someone, that's what you should be saying to that person, not a discount.
Right.
And you never came out that way.
Right. And a lot of times when people come to me and be like, well, I want this much, and I just break it down to them. Say, listen, this cost me this cost me that. I pay you this, I pay this person that, I pay this other person that, there's the camera people, whatever. You add all this up, you'll see I'm not making that much.
Right.
So if you want double, it just becomes an impossible situation.
Yes,
and I just can't do it.
That's not realistic.
I'm not trying to nickel and dime you. I'm just telling you this is impossible now.
Yes.
So if you don't want to do it because you're expecting more, we just won't do it.
Right.
And it's all good. We're still friends.
Yep, that's right.
But I'm not going to sit there and I'm not trying. I'm being transparent with you.
You always have.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I said this on Twitter recently. If you're breaking even, you're actually losing.
Damn fucking right.
Because your rent is still going to be there.
That's right.
Your bills are still going to be there.
That's right.
And if you're doing it and just breaking even after all your expenses, you might as well just not even done it.
That's right.
Because the profit is what pays for the overhead.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody doesn't have business IQ.
Yeah.
They don't,
Vlad. They don't.
Know? And we can't, here's the thing about our interviews. We can't save the world.
No.
but we can just get 3.
Yeah.
Every interview.
We're good.
We good.
We're good.
If we just get 3 people to understand and we change their lives.
Yes.
I'm down for that.
That's how we're going to end it. TK Kirkland, always a pleasure.
My man.
Till next time.
Love you for life.
Peace.